Have your sports curiosity cured.
Zell coughs it up. Malkin looks around to the slot, a handoff. Novak flung in by Kulak. He's got it. Kulak off a stick. Off Schaefer. Jake Break. It's Horvath. It's the game on his stick. We'll see. He scores. Oh, Horvath wins it in overtime.
A veteran of the sports reporting game for over 25 years.
It's across. Tuck in the hot slot. Wrist shot. Save it. Poked out by Vasilevsky. Tied up with Dali. Dali tries to poke it away from Moser. Kucherov able to protect the puck. Slant.
Breaking down Edmonton's favorite teams.
The shot wide of the net, ends up behind. Back up top for Emerson. But Colson on the move. Matthews trying to stay with it. Back the other way.
This is Sports 1440 and the Kevin Karius Show.
Santa Clara, however you want to hatch it out. It's the Seahawks, it's the Patriots, and it should make for a dandy of a football game. Thank you very much for tuning into the program this morning, however you are doing so. We do appreciate it here on the Kevin Karius Show. Brandon Douglas sitting in for KK one final morning before he makes his triumphant return back from holiday on Monday to break everything down that we're going to see unfold here over the next couple days of the weekend. You can watch us. We're streaming video on YouTube. Our page, Sports 1440 AM. You can drop us a subscription, a like while you're there. We would greatly appreciate it. We're also on all the social channels, Facebook, X, Instagram, even Twitch with our video feed. And then if you're strictly on the audio format, that is equally as good. The AM terrestrial radio dial is a good choice. You can also stream online for crystal clear options. iHeartRadio, TuneIn app, and Sports1440.ca. If you do miss any portion of the program, you can always catch up via podcast, Apple, Spotify, Google, Amazon, essentially wherever you get your podcast. You can find us there. Just a quick search of the Kevin Karius Show should bring it up, and you can subscribe as well on that format. And then there's also the auto download feature, which is a handy one. You don't got to go and pick each episode, each hour, each interview. They're all there waiting for you in your library, and you never have to miss a second of the show. It is Friday, which means it's Feel Good Friday. We're trying to keep it positive here. I know yesterday was a little rough for a lot of those out there inside Oilers Nation and feelings around the local hockey team heading into the Olympic break, but maybe let's try and change gears a little bit because there's plenty to be positive about here. The weather is unbelievable in and around our city. It is Super Bowl weekend. There's lots of great ton local sports to take in. The Edmonton Oil Kings in action tonight. Golden Bears hockey at the Drake, among other collegiate athletics, and tons to keep our spirits up on top of. Obviously, the one of the headliners, if not the headliner, the Olympic Games and opening ceremonies getting underway from Milan, Cortina, and those couple other hubs over in Italy. It's also Playlist Friday, which means if you've got a song that can help you feel good heading into the weekend, you can text it in 1-833-414-1440. And our man on the ones and twos, Donovan Paulson, will do his very best to get it lined up in the queue and played for one of our segment intros and hopefully have you feeling good heading into the weekend. It would not be Friday without being joined by our co-host, the former CFLer, the Grey Cup champion, the all-decade team member. He's the real deal with pipes of Eddie Steele. Good morning, Eddie. Happy Friday to you. Thanks, as always, for ducking in for a couple hours with us.
Brother Duke. Who called it to you yesterday? Yeah, BD. I like that one.
I think Dennis did.
Yeah. Dennis.
DB and BD.
Yeah, Bernstein. I like that one. BD. That's how I'm going to call you nowadays.
Ooh,
I like that. I'm doing great, man. It's good to be with you. I'm jazzed for this weekend.
Yeah, you had a good week since we last chatted on Monday?
Yeah, it's been a good week. I mean, lots of action on the Oilers front. Holy smokes,
yes.
hey?
Yeah. Well, hey,
Is
Eddie,
Knobloch going to keep his job?
we missed you yesterday. We could have enjoyed all of your insight because with Laddie away with some coaching stuff, we were pretty much just the three of us in here, obviously with all of our great guests spread out in the morning, but it was all the same narrative essentially for 4 hours of the coaching staff, the players we have, the buy-in, the management stinks, the goalies suck again. Everything is kind of sky is falling for a team that here we are. Every team is now on the break. It's official after last night's hockey action across the league. And the Oilers are still second place in the division. Now,
soft division.
It's a soft division. Vegas has extended their lead to 4 points in that aforementioned division thanks to a win over the Kings last night. So that's twofold. Keeps the Kings pushed back from crawling up the backside of the Oilers and others inside the Pacific, but also, as I said, extends Vegas's lead. So we will continue to talk some Oilers over the course of the morning, breaking into it. But I figured, in terms of some of our guests and segment topics, we can branch out a little bit. I did want to stick with hockey, though, to start with you, Eddie, and the final edition, or at least what we assume is the final edition, to Team Canada heading to the Olympics, and maybe even more importantly, who wasn't named to it. And Braden Point of the Tampa Bay Lightning was one of the original players named back in the summer, similar to the Four Nations face-off, where they kind of picked the quote-unquote no-doubters, the surefire guys, which in Point's case, man, if he hadn't been named as one of those guys, his status might have maybe been in doubt a little bit because he has struggled at times this year, but unable to go. Injury will keep him from traveling to Italy, unfortunately, just like his teammate, Anthony Cirelli. Now, the replacement. We talked about it yesterday. We've talked about it umpteen times in the last number of weeks. Will Zach Hyman get a look should injuries come down? In the case of Cirelli, they opt for Sam Bennett. That makes sense, right? Potential fourth line forward, a guy can give you a little bit of a different dynamic to your lineup, play physical, play gritty, and not necessarily have to try and go shift for shift with the likes of Connor McDavid or Nathan McKinnon as a winger. But that's not what the story was this time. Braden Point is a bona fide top six player, and a lot of people had slated to be on the wing of one of Connor McDavid or Nate McKinnon when this tournament began. And Team Canada, Doug Armstrong and company, choose to go with Seth Jarvis from Carolina. Seth Jarvis was on my original selection of this team, going back to December 31st. I think he's a very underrated player in terms of what he can do across 200 feet, plays a solid two-way game, can play any position on the forward group, center, each wing, can kill penalties, has the skill to play on the power play and put up points. But it did seem like Zach Hyman was a name that would be a logical fit here to potentially slide in alongside his running mate, number 97 in the red and white.
I feel you on that in terms of Zach. He's been on a heater. He's been filling up the net, pouring in the goals. But you look at Seth Jarvis. He was on the Four Nations team last year. You look at the production. I mean, he's got 25 goals. So the production's there. He's a net filler himself. And, man, shame on me. I didn't know he was from Winnipeg. Got to give the Winnipeg boys some
Don't you
love.
remember? I think it was during it was the Four Nations face-off is what it was. And this group of guys from high school, boys, they all made the trek.
Yeah, now I remember.
And took up like a whole half section at some of the Team Canada games. So, and yeah, it was well documented. But no, you're right. A good Winnipeg boy to represent.
He is sneaky good at his game, though. 200-foot game.
He's an excellent player. And I know that it's kind of mixed, actually, Eddie, between the outcry and contentment from Oilers fans in particular, because they look and say, we don't really want Zach Hyman to go on a selfish note, right? Because if you go to the Olympics, chance of injury, you don't get this 3-week break to recuperate, rejuvenate, and refresh yourself for the final home stretch of the season, which remains a very heavy and condensed schedule. But also, Zach Hyman is no spring chicken anymore.
There we go.
And so if we're talking in 4 years' time, are his chances, is the likelihood of him getting another real bona fide crack at representing his country on the world's biggest stage realistic? And I don't feel uncomfortable saying that probably no.
No, and Jarvis will be in the mix.
And Seth Jarvis is still only 24 years old. His chances to remain in this conversation are very high. But can you build a team that you want to bring home a gold medal on those type of thoughts and feelings?
You have to factor that in. That's why, I mean, Celebrini, his production, he's one of the best players in the world, but it helps that he's 19, and he's going to be a part of the Team Canada mix for the next decade plus.
So, and so once again, you don't want it's tough, and you do have a little bit of the human element side to it, where for some of these older guys, even a player like Mark Scheifele, potentially, where when you look at the continuing upcrop of Canadian players, there's always going to be the next top 5 pick that is in his first 3 years pushing the envelope to try and take away your spot on a team like Team Canada. So you feel bad for these guys that this might have been their last go at it. But we know that a lot of these national programs also like to ease in the next generation and get them experience, even if I don't think this will be the case for Celebrini necessarily, but even if they don't play a ton, maybe they don't play at all and they're just an extra forward the whole tournament, but being a part of it, getting the experience to now move forward to 2030, Canada says, all right, we're not coming in with an entire roster of inexperienced Olympians. And that does matter too. So would love to hear thoughts from Oilers Nation and all the fans out there. 1-833-401-1440 on the topic of your emotions, your feelings, where you stand on Zach Hyman again being passed over for what we at this point would probably assume to be the final spot on Team Canada's Olympic hockey roster in lieu of Seth Jarvis from the Carolina Hurricanes. So outside of that, Eddie, it's Super Bowl weekend, Olympics. So we've already got a couple days of action. Doubles curling, Peterman and Gallant are 4-1 now. They did lose to the United States earlier this morning. We got some qualifying for figure skating, for skiing, luge, number of events, but it's the opening ceremonies. So I want to start there with you. Great your excitement level for the next couple weeks on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being you are simply bursting with excitement. You're as excited as Donovan Paulson was thinking about the pink. Team Canada's lineup for the Olympics. or a 1 being completely and negligibly indifferent.
Donnie was bursting, huh?
Oh, this man was about to bust.
Ooh, Donnie.
Partial chop.
Oh, shit.
Partial chop.
Why you keep saying it?
Because I can.
The old half skis.
Oh, yeah. Nursing a semi is what I like to say.
You know what? I take the opening and closing ceremonies out. I never pay attention to that. But the one for actually remember a couple of years ago for the Summer Games, that opening ceremony, that was intense, man. You remember that one?
The what ones? The what year?
Open for the Summer Games,
like
a
the
couple
last
years
Summer
back.
Games, the Paris ones.
Yeah. Remember that?
Oh, right. Yeah, I do remember
a little much,
that,
man. A little much at the table.
Yeah, a lot going on.
Yeah, too much going on. But I get excited because it's once every 4-year type of a deal. We all know that. But as Speck alluded to a couple of days ago on the program, you get to see events in sports that you typically aren't
you
seeing
don't
in
even
the
give
mainstream.
a second thought to for the years in between.
And it's
right?
nice to appreciate those types of athletes and what they're getting after and the work that they put in. And we know the grind that you have to work so hard for a small window every 4 years. And that's tough alone on the mindset. But yeah, just the sport itself. And it's so unique to see different things out there. So that's what I really appreciate about the Olympics. So out of 10, I'm a real 6.5, 7. Like I'm right in there. Yeah, I do get pretty hyped up. I'm watching. Yeah. I'm definitely watching. Yeah. Not glued, but I'm watching.
Right. And listen, you don't necessarily have the same benefit of people like myself and Speck and others inside this business where most of our time is spent on the couch at a desk or something where even when we're quote unquote working, we have the opportunity to tune into these things that listen, it's not the gold medal hockey game. It's not the final run down the ski track where everything's up for grabs. We get to watch a lot of the preliminary stuff and everything in between because it's just on, right? And specifically with the time change, it's on during the mornings.
Exactly.
And so, which is great for us in here. And listen, we'll do our best to provide over the next couple of weeks the best coverage we can while still abiding by the Olympics and the IOC's incredibly strict and stringent copyright policies and stuff. So there won't be any, play-by-play of a run that's happening in front of us on the TV. But apart from that, results, score updates and stuff like that, as well as obviously hoping to connect with some live coverage from boots on the ground in Italy over the next few weeks from reporters and whatnot who are over there. That's all still to come. So do not fret on that front.
That team Finland is a big story, Duke.
Oh, with getting sick,
getting sick,
yeah.
That's a little story to monitor. It really is.
We talked about it yesterday with Frank, like that when you're talking about that close to quarters and being in Olympic Village, chances of, contagious or spreadable disease, viruses and stuff,
It happens.
it can work around lickety split, man. And all of a sudden now you might be talking about other games, other events postponed, people unable to participate, whatever. There's any number of ways for it to play out. But the ideal way, obviously, is that they postpone the game. They weren't asked to leave the rooms, the facility, a little bit of kind of mini quarantine, if you will. They get this bug out of their system, and then we carry on otherwise unimpeded.
Hopefully.
So, Eddie Steele, Brandon Douglas with you here on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. Feel Good Friday, Playlist Friday. Get your requests in. 1-833-401-1440 is our text line. I threw it out there, Eddie, asking individuals how they're feeling about this situation with Zach Hyman being left off of Team Canada's Olympic team. And BC Oiler is not very optimistic. I have a bad feeling about this Team Canada roster. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't medal. Goalies are poor, and they've gone with a lot of older and lower skill players.
He said no medal?
I would be surprised if that happened, but we've seen crazier things.
I'm a betting man. Put 20 on it.
$20 on Team Canada.
Throw
To
20 on
medal.
it. I'll put 20 that Canada medals.
Buddy, put your house on Canada medaling.
Oh, Donovan.
I mean, let's be
either
real
Donovan
here.
say he doesn't have a house.
Yeah, he come in full job this one.
I do not own a house. However,
If I did, he would be
I
willing
would
to
be putting the
wager.
house on it. Canada's not going to medal. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
Like,
they're gonna
look
medal.
at that team. Oh no, you took Seth Jarvis.
What a
What bum that
I
guy
really
is.
can't reiterate this. He's a really good player. Just because a lot of us do not watch every Carolina game and just simply maybe check out some box scores and see he isn't a top 10 scorer in the National
He's
Hockey
got
League.
25 goals in 49 games.
And guess what? That is off of what was a very slow start to the season. So much like Zach Hyman, who granted did not play for the first, what are we talking, month plus of the year, he's been excellent. Zach Hyman has done everything in his power to earn the right to be on the team.
He has.
But the unfortunate reality is this is Team Canada we're
And
talking
Seth
about.
has been there last year.
And there are an borderline infinite number of options for them. And it's very clear that Doug Armstrong and the rest of the management group and the coaching staff, however you want to, dictate the decision makers here, they really factor in the experience gained at the Four Nations face-off and guys that were on that team. Now, Zach Hyman probably should have been on that team too.
Man, him and Ekholm take the rest.
Then we start down an entire rabbit hole of shoulda, coulda, wouldas, whatever the case. The rest, I think the players are disappointed for sure. You have to think so, but at the same time, hey, get your feet up for a few weeks and relax and come back like gangbusters
Refocus.
to try and right the ship on this Oilers season, which is starting to slide in the wrong direction heading into the break. We've got a loaded Friday show for you. Lots of great things to cover, and we will talk some more Oilers and what the Hyman decision could mean and maybe the positives it could lead to for the Edmonton Club. With Sean Brown, the former NHLer, you also hear him Mondays co-hosting with Jason Gregor right here on Sports 1440. We'll check in with Brownie. 8 o'clock, Mark Spector will be with us heading into the weekend. We'll chat with Spec about the Olympics, Oilers, and maybe even a little Super Bowl chatter with Spec. 8:40, in or out with Donovan. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, Zach Lang from Oilers Nation and Daily Faceoff will continue to buzz around the world of hockey as the NHL schedule comes to a pause for the upcoming Olympics. And then in 10 o'clock, at 10 o'clock, Ian Herbers, head coach of the Golden Bears hockey team. They got a 2-game set this weekend with UBC from the Claire Drake Arena. And at 10:20, we will turn our attention fully and unrestrained to Sunday's Super Bowl. Jacob Robinson from The Athletic covers the NFL. He will guest with us from Santa Clara and tee up Sunday's game. All that, lots more in between. Your text message can continue to flood in. I'll give you the number again. 1-833-401-1440 is how you can get a hold of us. You can also call us if you're so inclined. Happy to have a chat. Sean Brown, the former NHLer, with us right after the break here on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas, Eddie Steele with you. We got Josh Femick and Donovan Paulson alongside as well. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Free trips, free iPads, a barbecue, a wood stove, the #1 dealer in the world. What? Who cares? How about no pressure, a great deal, finance rates as low as 0%, trade values you can be happy with, and an indoor showroom. And we're pretty good people. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
Top quality flooring, locally owned, and Canadian products from Beaulieu. Yeah, that's CFI.
CFI what?
No, CFI, Custom Floors Inc.
From free estimate to professional installation, contact Custom Floors Inc. at customfloorsinc.ca.
A Saskatchewan boy who grew up loving and playing sports. At least we think he grew up. Listen to Kevin Karius weekday mornings from 7 to 11 on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Today on Hey Culligan, how smart is your water? Here's Tracy.
Hey Culligan, I think my water might be dumb.
Good news, Tracy. Your water's not dumb. It's just not talking to you.
You can make my water talk.
No, but the new Culligan Smart Drinking Water System can talk to your phone to tell you when your water filters need changing and help you meet drinking water goals.
Now that's some brilliant H2O.
You said it, Tracy, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at culligan.ca.
Heard of Uline? You know, the have-it-all in-stock, ready-to-deliver shipping and industrial supply specialists. The company that does things for you that are unheard of, like keeping 41,000 items in stock in our own warehouses. With customer service reps on the line to get you what you need when you need it 24/7, 365 every time. Maybe you heard it here first. Want to hear more? Visit uline.ca. ULINE, your shipping and industrial supply specialists.
Oh, Canada. Jiffy Lube is here to keep you moving through mornings like these. Full synthetic oil changes, quality Pennzoil products, tire checks, battery tests, and everything else your car needs to get through our winters. Stop by Jiffy Lube for fast, easy, warranty-approved service. No appointment, no hassle. Just dependable service right when you need it. Jiffy Lube, keeping you moving through this.
Just in time for the morning skate. This is the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440.
Welcome back to the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440, 722 in Edmonton. Another beautiful day on deck for the City of Champions in the Capital Region. Some plus temps continue to grace us over the weekend and should make for a dandy if you're getting out. Be careful. The roads are actually a little slick this morning with that overnight freeze. So do take it easy if you're out and about here before the sun comes up and gets a little bit of a melt going. Our first guest of the day is going to be our headliner of the day, brought to you by Mr. Rooter Plumbing, getting snakes deep, giving 110% day in and day out for all your plumbing needs. Go to mrrooter.ca. We welcome in Sean Brown, the former NHLer and co-host on the Jason Gregor Show on Mondays right here on Sports 1440. Sean, good morning. Appreciate you hopping on the opening slot with us today. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. How you guys doing?
Oh, we're doing great in here, Sean. It's Friday. The weekend's here. I'm wrapping up my last day of filling in for Karius as he enjoys his final couple margaritas beachside in Mexico before he returns to the rise and grind of AM radio morning shows. So I'm just taking it all in, man. What about you, Eddie?
Man, it's been a good time. How do you think KK is going to be on Monday morning? Do you think?
Well, it's the Super Bowl on Sunday. He's probably going to be hungover.
He's going to come in pretty foggy or what?
KK doesn't have an off switch, Sean. You know that.
Yeah, no, I definitely, you know what, you guys work hard. That's got to be challenging getting up at that time of the day. So it's well-deserved, but he's for sure having a good time. And I would expect him and a lot of other people to be a little hungover on Monday.
Yeah. It's Sean says like, oh, yeah, you guys have a hard job and they're getting up early. Meanwhile, he's here at 7:20 doing the hit with us. He's probably already had an ice session and a workout in the gym this morning too. can't stop a guy like Shaw Brown. Brownie, the Oilers, into the Olympic break here with a little bit of a whimper, 3 straight losses following that first 3-game win streak of the season they had. And as you can certainly imagine, yesterday here into the station, it was sky is falling. Fire everyone, cancel the season, don't bother making any ads at the trade line. It's just the nature of sport, and particularly a passionate fan base that you're very well accounted for your time playing here in this city. But where are you at overall with this team right now? It's obviously a flawed roster that's not playing well right now, but there are still some positives to draw from what we've seen here in the first half plus of the season.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, anytime you have the 2 best players in the league, that's always you're always going to be in it. I mean, we've watched them work their magic at different games at different times to will their way or will their teams into a win. But obviously it's not great. It is a weird year. The Olympics with the amount of hockey. Obviously there's some turnover. And they've played a lot of hockey the last couple of years too. They've made some trades, so. There's a change obviously behind the bench with the coaching staff. So there's a lot, but this team is, they've never really made it easy for the last couple of years on themselves, and they don't, seem to want to, do it the easy way. So I don't think it should really surprise us, but there are some pieces. I think the break has probably obviously come at a really good time for everybody, fans and coaching staff, and then for the staff to kind of reset and figure out what the plan is moving forward. I imagine that this break, you'd think mentally you'd like to get away, but you know how it is, Eddie, as an athlete. Sometimes you have a hard time. It would be a lot easier to let it go and have more of an enjoyable time away from the rink. But when you're in the situation you're in, I'm sure they're grinding and it's got to be on the top of their mind, and they're probably really excited and looking forward to kind of getting back and righting the ship, because it's not, as much as it's not fun for fans to watch, and it's a grind. It's hard for an athlete because you're so motivated to play at a high level and you want to win. So
Brownie, that's a heck of a point that you just made, and you just brought me right back into some bye week situations. And it's like taking a loss going into the bye week. You can't enjoy that time off as much, and as much noise as there is around the Oilers, they can't go and sit back and relax as much as everybody believes that's what they're going to do. It's eating at you inside, and you can't wait to come back and right that ship. Now, I wanted to ask you, Brownie, with all the noise, especially, the comments that Draisaitl made where he involved the coaching staff, where do you land? And I'm quite firm on my stance. I believe it's more on the players than the coaches. The coaches only can coach. The players at the end of the day have to go out there and play. They have to defend. They have to execute. Where do you land with all the noise in terms of, are you at 50-50? Is it half coaches, half on the players? Where do you believe when it comes to, the, I guess, blame, so to speak, to point at this point for where the Oilers are?
Yeah, I mean, it's, I don't know. I mean, I think when I played and the way I was brought up, and Eddie, maybe you're the same way, I think obviously there's a lot of frustration and emotions that come with the game, and Draisaitl, along with a lot of other guys, they wear their hearts on their sleeves. And guys are, say things that, I think maybe at times they might want to take it back in a different moment, in the heat of the moment. I think it's always tough, I think, when you, start to point out, other positions or players or coaches. I think that when you start getting into that, and Draisaitl definitely was taking blame for himself, but it's tough because, especially in the Canadian market, when you start saying and bringing other people other than yourself in, it creates a lot more of a situation, more to talk about, adds more frustration, and it's very, you look at where we're at now, we're telling you it's a bigger story. Mm-hmm. So it's always, it's tough, and ultimately, coaches come up with a plan, and put guys out on the ice, and they kind of dictate who's going to be in all the situations. But as a player, it's all on them. I think they got a good team. It's clearly they're not executing at the times they should. I mean, they all have to take some blame in that. There's probably the coaches have to take some blame, and as far as how trying to find those buttons. And I think Knobloch, since he's come into the Oilers organization, has done a really good job of just slotting in guys, taking guys in and out, and the team seems to react, and more often than not usually gets the result that he's looking for. This year it's a little bit of a challenge. I know as a role player, like you're not going to play a lot, and sometimes it's more about the times that you do play and the situations you do get put on the ice, because you do know when there's whether you get put on a face-off or taken off on a face-off, or a particular time in the game when there's key moments. Are you getting, is the coach recognizing, is there opportunity to spread that ice out and show that you have some confidence in a guy? Like it's very hard. There's only one puck and so much ice time, and everybody wants it. So, and obviously their top guys are going to get a lot of the big minutes, which they should, but trying to find those buttons to try and make, the bottom 3-4 lines still feel valuable without, with the minutes that they're playing, is very tough. So I think, this break is probably good for them to kind of reset as a coaching staff and reevaluate and find ways that, hey, how can we motivate these guys? How can we put them in situations to feel valued, and get the best out of them? That's, I think, a lot of coaching now. The X and O's are, everyone's really good at that, but it's the other part that, as a coach, that can really separate you from the really good ones.
Sean Brown, the former NHLer, our guest here on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas, Eddie Steele in studio this morning. So, Brownie, Eddie's thing about Draisaitl's comments, to pony off that a little bit, going back to even the game or two games previous when the goaltender, Tristan Jarry, makes some pointed words in a post-game thing about the quality of scoring chances that have been given up. And I know some listeners might be tired because I seem to have been harping on this for the past number of days. But when you're a defenseman in that locker room and you hear your goalie say that, where does your mind go to? And does it immediately go to, man, he's right, we got to figure this out? Or does it also say, dude, probably you worry about stopping the bleeping puck, because that is something that has obviously plagued Jarry a little bit here, giving up some goals that he should not be, on top of the grade A chances that, we always say, well, the goalie has no prayer on. So as somebody that's been in the locker rooms and played on teams that have went through their own fair share of struggles, where do you land on a goalie coming out and, not being as reserved as we often see them being?
Yeah, I mean, everyone feels it. He knows it. I would know it. We can see it. Everyone's got to be a little bit better. And there were some situations that weren't. That wasn't great. The guys that they're the defensemen and as a whole weren't playing great in front of them.
Oh, for sure.
And it did. Yeah, for sure. It was making them tough. And like I said, I don't know if. I think I listened to Jarry's comments the last game against Calgary, and he took a lot of the blame himself, and I think that's important, right? I just, I would always kind of, I guess myself, always lean towards, putting the blame on me, and if there's, there's always, you obviously have a relationship, and there's conversations that people don't see, and those are conversations I think you kind of have behind the scenes, right? It's as a group, but like I said, it's after the game. There's a ton of frustration. It's real, it's raw, but I think, especially in the Canadian market, when you start saying some things about others and not so much about your game, it just starts to get a little bit of traction, gets a little bit of, there's more frustration. And I'm sure at the end of the day, because everyone's on social media, you can't get away from it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised that, there was some conversations of being like, hey, you know what, like this might have come off this way, but this is how I felt. And, you might walk it back a little bit.
Sean, who you got for the Super Bowl? And second most important question, what's the spread going to be?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping. I mean, I'm not the biggest biggest NFL fan. I mean, I love watching. I don't, I kind of my team. If I had a team, the Bills are out. But I'm kind of excited for New England and the fact that they've been there so long and had so many good seasons with. We all know the players that they had. So it's nice to see them back with a young quarterback and a coach that has won a Super Bowl and now is there as a coach. He seems, I always, enjoy the player coaches, the guys that have kind of been through the trenches and know what it's like, and seems like a great guy to play for. But then the other side of me is I kind of like Seattle a little bit too. So, I'll be watching. More than anything, you want to see a close game.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't want to see a game, and I think from what I hear, it's the potential of Seattle should maybe run away with it a little bit. But it's one game. It's so hard because sometimes, it's, in a one game playoff, like anyone can really win. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess I'll go for a close game and New England to win.
Any given Sunday, Duke.
Any given Sunday. And then you host any big gatherings, Sean? Do you attend any big gatherings, or a little more casual with you and the family at home taking in the game?
Well, I got to kind of see.
You're a very busy man.
Well, I might look busy, but I'm not. I have a friend that's having a bunch of people over, but that's more just guys. So I don't know how interested or into it my wife is. So typically we like to just have people here. It's kind of easier. You have people here,
right.
You can pretty casual and, but there's a side of me too that it's nice to kind of go out too in a different environment
mm-hmm.
and see, the people that are actually into it. But so, yeah, I got to make the decision today and see where my wife's at. If she's really into watching it, or do I go watch it with the boys?
Yeah.
Comes at a cost.
Yes, of course. There's always another side to that sacrifice to head out for a full Sunday afternoon. Brownie, really appreciate you hopping on with us this morning. Great stuff as always. Really enjoy listening to you on with Gregor on Monday afternoons as well. So keep up the great work there, and have yourself a great weekend. Enjoy the Super Bowl, enjoy the Olympics, and we'll chat with you soon once KK's back in the big chair.
Awesome. Have fun. Have a great weekend, guys.
Sean Brown, the former NHLer and co-host of the Jason Gregor Show on Monday afternoons.
Duke, and all you boys, I'm kind of in a predicament here.
Oh, boy.
In terms of Super Bowl parties. Now that we're
you got too many invitations or what?
Well, we do have multiple invitations.
Okay.
We do. And
Okay.
I have declined actually all of them because it's a work day. I like to watch the Super Bowl like locked in, watch the game, because I have to be here at 7 a.m. the next day to break it down and talk about it.
Right. Okay.
So, in my experience,
what's your predicament?
My predicament, well, I'm going to stay home.
Popular?
No, I'm going to stay home and watch it alone.
No, you're not, Eddie.
Well, my wife goes out to a party.
No way.
Man, because I don't like having all the noise around me when I'm watching the game. And there's oftentimes people want to talk a lot of shop with me as the token football guy.
Right.
And I want to sit and be locked in for the game. Is there something wrong with that?
No. So first of all, I will say no. Now, my counter to it would be I'm kind of in the same boat, right? And if you go to one of these larger gatherings where maybe it is a little more broad in terms of the people attending, with they aren't diehards, they don't actually maybe care about the game or what happens in the more intricate details, and just like the big plays, the touchdowns, the halftime show, right?
Yep.
And so I have never went to a party like that. I do get invited to one every year, and it's put on by the captain of my beer league team, the Tropics. Shout out Noel. He hosts a great shindig, and even so, he invites all the team and some of our other friends from back in the university days. All the guys, like we love to gamble on the game. We care about the fantasy football all year, so we're invested in a lot of players, teams, whatever the case. But it is different when there's that many people and those extraneous comments from maybe some individuals that aren't as familiar.
For sure.
So I get you. But so my plan, I still go. I go over to my buddy Chucky Slicks, have for the last handful of years at this point. There's like 3 or 4 of us. The wives, the girlfriends, whatever. We have big enough that there's a great spread of food and drinks and everything. And this is the first year in his new place. He's got the golf sim in the shop. So we're going to play a round of golf before the game gets on. And you can still enjoy it with the comfort of still some party type atmosphere and a little banter with some of the boys.
I can't do it. I treat this like an Oilers playoff game where I got to take my notes. Like I got to pay attention.
Wow. Okay.
Well, I can't come in here and, BS. Like, got to come in here and be able to talk it.
You can't?
Duke.
What am I doing here then?
You're so befuddled.
What am I doing here? No, Eddie, I see where you're coming from. I can get it. But man, because I spend every NFL Sunday from 11 a.m. until the conclusion of Sunday Night Football, with the exception of sometimes if I'm playing a beer league game Sunday night, I'll miss the first half of the Sunday nighter. I watch them by myself.
And I love socializing. I love being with people, but like this is kind of one. And I've done Super Bowl parties my whole life, Grey Cup parties my whole life. But this one, I kind of want to just lay low and lock in.
Okay.
Lock in.
To each their own, Eddie. I never like to yuck somebody's yum. I'm not like in so much in the camp that I'm not afraid to say if I disagree or I don't really see eye to eye with a certain approach to an opinion or a hobby or an interest or whatever. But I also say do whatever you want. Like what you like. If it doesn't have if it doesn't take away from the enjoyment of or rights of somebody else, go nuts. So I'll back you up on this. Lots more Super Bowl talk coming up over the course of the show, and we'll dive into the game itself and maybe get some similar thoughts from the likes of Josh Femick and Donovan Paulson coming up in the 8 o'clock hour. When we come back, I want to dip over into the text line, 1-833-401-1440, and give a Critters report from last night. CFCW Critters playing in Fort Assiniboine. Give you the full recap of what went down there. Some players making their Critters debuts with Sports 1440 ties, and lots more. 8 o'clock, Mark Spector will be with us, at 8:40. We'll go in or out with Donovan. Sean Brown, the former NHLer, was our headliner of the day. Your top defense pairing against Leaks. That's MrRooter.ca. When we come back, text, Critter Talk. Eddie's got a story to tell us, and some questions from the text line for Eddie to boot. It's Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas, Eddie Steele, both with you. We got Josh Femick and Donovan Paulson in studio as well. You can watch us. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just life on the go? Go Auto offers a massive selection with over 15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
He's a legend in the booth and a master on the mic. Low Tide brings the banter weekdays from noon to 2. Sports 1440 is where Edmonton talks sports. Get in the game. Text 833-401-1440.
McValue breakfast meals are $5 plus tax every day. Get a sausage McMuffin, bagel with cream cheese product, or breakfast burrito with hash brown and small coffee, all for just $5. Plus taxes. Available until 11 a.m. at Canadian restaurants. Product availability varies. Prices exclude delivery.
Johnson, whoa. That, my friends, is more than a jingle. It's the sound of local, the sound of a family company that isn't owned by some big corporation. Hi, it's Dennis from Weiss Johnson, and I'm proud of our commitment to remain local, providing personalized sales and service whenever you need us. Some people say, go big or go home. Not us. We'd rather keep on doing what we're doing, focused on what matters most. You, our valued customers. See what our family can do for your family at weiss-johnson.com.
Catch the biggest game on the biggest screens in the city. River Free Resort and Casino invites you to the ultimate football watch party this Sunday in the venue. 3 giant screens, all-you-can-eat buffet, desserts and snacks, $5.25 drink features, and tons of prizes. Don't miss River Free's ultimate football watch party with premium VIP seating available. Tickets at riverfreeresort.com.
River Free Resort and Casino. Excitement. Bet on it.
Stories, guests, and insights. This is Sports 1440 and the Kevin Karius Show.
I thought you don't work there anymore. Well, you put in your 2 weeks as a bartender? Respect though. 7:45. Welcome back into the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas in for KK1 final day. It's been a fun week plus going back to last Friday, but Kev will return Monday morning. Our co-host Eddie Steele, the former CFLer, alongside Donovan Paulson on the ones and twos, Josh Fenwick keeping us on track on our video streams everywhere you can watch it, YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, over on Twitch if that's how you so choose to consume the program. We appreciate it. Live from the Stingray Studios here in West Edmonton Mall. And just down the hallway from us here at Stingray Eddie is our sister station, CFCW, the legend of 840 here in Northern Alberta. And I'm at this point, I've played enough games. I'm comfortable saying we. The Critters were in Fort Assiniboine last night, taking on a collection of different men's league players, I think some community members and leaders and stuff like that. Final score, Critters 16, the Bear Hogs. Great name. The Bear Hogs 13. Big win. It got man, our third period was not pretty. We were bleeding goals.
Was Marty, did he continuously tell you guys how slow and sloppy you look?
Actually, in the dressing room, he thought we looked faster than the last game where he had some pretty pointed comments.
I don't like the sounds of that.
About
because that was me out of the roster, insert walking in.
Yeah, Eddie, I don't think you should take too much offense to the fact that just because you weren't there and the two players we added were Andrew Walker, a very good player in his own right, of course, our host of pre- and post-game coverage here on Sports 1440, and his wife, Angie, who played pro hockey in Europe. So don't take any offense to that. They definitely added some speed to the lineup. But you know what they lacked? Your character. Your leadership.
I'm a team guy. Pull everyone together.
I'll touch on my own leadership qualities in a moment here, but over $6,600 raised for facility upgrades. Guest critter Cole, and the first time ever a goalie guest critter Jacob. Cole was the goalie, Jacob was the forward. I had that mixed up all night, and I did so again, even reading off the sheet. Great to have them on the team. None of us won the 50-50, which was unfortunate.
That'd be a tough look.
Well,
you'd have to give it back, right?
So the unwritten rule of Critters, if a member of the team wins the 50-50, you donate half back. That you donate half your winnings back.
Okay.
Now, this came up last night as we were all buying our tickets at the intermission because last year, Sean K. Smith, salesman extraordinaire, a Herb Tarlick lookalike, he won, donated it all back. And so I'm like, does this set some sort of precedent that now all of a sudden everyone has to do it? And AJ Keller, afternoon guy at CFCW, I think even Marty, but it was like, no, absolutely not. Do whatever you want. Like the halfback thing is like a sign of goodwill, good faith. Thanks for having us. And that's plenty. But none of us won, so it didn't matter.
That's a perfect segue into my story, dude.
Okay.
That is a perfect segue, actually.
All right. Please. I've been jonesing to hear this all morning.
Giving back the 50-50. I like that. And giving half back. So I'm at the keg on, what was that? Tuesday night. I went with a buddy of mine, and we had a 6:00 reservation. Didn't really get the reservation until late. It was about 5:30. Keg at South Common. So I've said on this program before how I love the keg mints, right?
The
chocolate filled, the mints. I like the Billy Miner pie, but then they have mints at the door.
I haven't heard you talk about mints.
Mints.
Okay,
yeah. So there's mints and they're chocolate filled. I love it. So I'll take handfuls on my way
pockets,
out. Yeah, like I'm that guy. It's pretty lame, but I love them.
Hey, at least you own it.
No shame in the game, baby. Right. So I'm at the keg on Tuesday, 6:00 rezo, and it's about halfway through our supper, and a manager comes over with a big to-go box, and he says, "Are one of you Eddie? I was told to come over here. My regional manager told me to give you these." And I open up this to-go box, and it's a huge to-go box of chocolate mints.
No way.
It was hilarious. So I just started laughing, man.
Awesome.
Just started laughing because someone obviously knew, someone listened. Because I get these encounters sometimes because the radio, man, we have a lot of good, loyal listeners out there. And then, so I laugh. Guy walks away, comes back about 10 minutes later. He's like, And my manager, he also said, check your email. He sent you a gift card.
No way.
I'm like, what the? Come on. So I open up my email and I got a little bit of a gift card there too. And I was like, man, that's pretty special. Like, wow, what a nice guy. What a really nice guy. So what I did with the gift card, of course, I left a really nice tip and paid for my buddy's supper. Originally, we were just going to pay for our own, but you give it for, you get this gift card. Of course, you got to treat. Yeah, you have to, man. You have to treat. So it was really cool in terms of just the listener. And Troy was his name. So shout out Troy, man. Like, really appreciate the support and listening. And it was just so funny how he sent the one manager over with a big old box of mints.
Like you said, it's kind of crazy the reach that. Listen, we know tons of people are listening and watching, and we obviously appreciate that. But then when you kind of get to get a little bit more concrete recognition of that, in the sense that little throwaway stories like that you've mentioned the odd time here over the past couple of years of loving the mints at the keg, and then that stuck with that one person that passed up the chain or the regional manager.
It's so cool how that goes, man. People, it's all about the people, Duke.
100%.
It happens to me in the gym. You remember my lawnmower?
Yes.
The small engine,
Yep.
and just how the small engine repair guy, we talked about it. He got about 10 calls for business. It's so cool how people listen, people really pay attention, and enjoy what we have to offer here.
Really good story. Thanks for sharing that, Eddie. You talk about the contributions from listeners and stuff like that. So after last Friday's snafu, where Donovan neglected to play me my Bryan Adams at 7:40, our buddy Jane Victoria made sure he would not forget again. He put in a BA request for Playlist Friday. 1-833-414-1440 is how you can get yours in. He played a unique, or requested a unique one. I don't think we've ever played it before. By the Man. I Want to Be by the Man, Bryan Adams. So that makes a little more sense. And then Army Darrell said, we need Eddie Steele singing that Bryan Adams song at karaoke in his cowboy boots, shorts, and cowboy hat.
Oof, shorts and cowboy hat.
Some Daisy Dukes.
Daisy Dukes better than two. Which is worse, Daisy Dukes or tucked in? Tucked
For
in
a
skinny
man
jeans.
wearing Daisy Dukes?
Tucked in skinny jeans.
Okay, so if you, Eddie, if you were to wear some cut off jean shorts, but they're at least like
quads are popping though. Quads, calves are
that's
popping.
What I mean. So as long as they're not you don't got anything hanging out the bottom of or something, they're long enough to provide acceptable coverage. That's just straight up funny, right? Whereas the skinny jeans you look like Jerry in that episode of Seinfeld, where he's like, yeah, I got Kramer takes all his sneakers to the sneaker place to get cleaned and fixed, and all he has left in his closet these cowboy boots when a club in Texas couldn't pay him for the gig or something, and he slipped sliding around the streets of New York.
Yeah,
that's what that looks like.
Yeah, that is.
But anyway, so that's great. Oh, Blake says, did you share the mints, Eddie?
Oh, of course.
But how many mints do you need at one time?
Oh, well, I told the guy I was with, his wife really likes them, so I gave him like a huge claw full, fill his pockets, and then of course I took a handsome amount home, sitting at home.
Of course, now you've got those for out the door every day.
Man, when I opened it up, because I had no idea what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And it was all wrapped up in a to-go box. When I opened it, I just head back, started laughing to the sky.
Unreal.
Because someone obviously had heard me talk about how much I love it, and that I take clawfuls on my way out.
That's too good. Just before we get to a spec at the top of the hour here, just want to I alluded to my leadership in the Critters locker room. So at the intermission yesterday, we come in and between the second and third periods, grab a beer out of the cooler, whatever the case, everyone's enjoying. And the dressing room was so hot too. So that did not help. But so I finished my buckskin, my Coors Banquet or Coors Original as they're now called. And I'm sitting beside AJ Keller in the corner of this pretty little room. And there's the garbage can and the recycling bin in the middle. And the recycling bin, it's not like open top. It's like the full lid, but then just the little slot cut out of it. And it wasn't just big enough for a can to get through, but it had to land nose or tail down to go through it. It wouldn't be able to go inside, right? And it's across the room. And I just say to AJ, I was like, hey, AJ, if I make this, you have to shotgun. And swish right in. For sure. And the stunned look, because AJ's like, yeah, okay. He obviously did not think I was going to make it.
Sure.
He makes it. And so then AJ pulls at his keys, good Saskatchewan small town boy, no problem, getting the gunner ready to go. And then Wayne, who is playing, this is his first season with the Critters, another salesman here in Stingray, he's like, oh yeah, I want a shotgun too. So he pulls one out.
Of course he did.
And he pops it open. Him and AJ do a quick little gunner. And And really, well, listen, I would like to say it rallied the troops, but I already said that the third period was terrible for us, so maybe it didn't. But just trying to keep vibes up in the locker room. And I mentioned, thanks to Andrew Walker and his wife Angie for coming out. Really good players, obviously. Especially Angie was on my line, and I said to her a couple of times when I put passes behind her, I was like, Angie, I'm not used to playing with people that extra step and a half ahead.
Come on. Now you didn't have to tell me that you're talking smack about me.
Not a shot at you.
Because you're my line mate last game.
I'm talking about my own beer league team. I'm talking about critters.
He's telling me he's talking smack about me now.
Yeah, it's just disrespectful.
I was literally your line mate last game.
Donovan, shut up.
I was literally your line mate.
Eddie, you're great.
You said, and the funny thing is, you said putting passes behind her because that means she's so much faster than me.
And you all know the real part of it. That was just how I had to justify giving bad passes to a player that is so much better than me in Angie. I also absolutely crumpled myself into the boards in the first period, and it was bad enough, like the collision with the wall, that the entire building, every player on the ice, like stopped, and we're like. Hold their collective, hold their breath, and then, but hey, it worked. Distraction technique. Angie went and scored as everybody was like staring at me essentially. Nice. So I took that as a personal assist in the game.
That's smart thinking by her.
Yeah, might not go down the score sheet, but I'll remember it in my mind when I'm recounting my season-long critter highlights. Top of the hour, Mark Spector is going to be with us. Before that, let's get to a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Riverside Honda, 59 years and counting as St. Albert and surrounding areas' premier Honda and Can-Am dealer. It's your dream. Ride it at riversidehonda.com. Here is Donovan Paulson.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Last night, the last NHL action before the Olympic break. The Sens snuck past the Flyers 2-1 in OT. The Pens getting past the Sabres 5-2. The Caps double up on the Preds. The Isles over the Devils 3-1. The Lightning toppled the Panthers 6-1 after 145 minutes in penalties. And the Kings dropped one to the Golden Knights 4-1. Hockey Canada, if you missed it last night, Seth Jarvis going to be inserted in over Braden Point after his injury. NFL news, the 2026 Hall of Fame class honoring Drew Brees, Larry Fitzgerald, Luke Kuechly, Adam Vinatieri, and Roger Craig. The awards last night saw Matt Stafford win MVP, DPOY Myles Garrett after getting all 50 first place votes. Offensive Player of the Year, Jackson Smith in Jigba, and Mike Vrabel was head coach of the year. Coming up on Sports 1440, it is Sportsnet's Mark Spector right after the break. I'm Donovan Paulson. That is your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Free trips, free iPads, a barbecue, a wood stove, the #1 dealer in the world. What? Who cares? How about no pressure, a great deal, finance rates as low as 0%, trade values you can be happy with, and an indoor showroom. And we're pretty good people. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
Do you work for a company that wants to reach people who love sports? Or maybe you're looking to hire people who love sports. Sports 1440 partners with dozens of local businesses, connecting with tens of thousands of Edmonton sports fans every day. On the radio, on the listening apps, on YouTube, and on social media. Contact our sales team today to see what Sports 1440 can do for you. Email Gregor at sports1440.ca to get started.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 furnace replacement company for lovers. Because the best aphrodisiac is no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace from Legacy. So forget about the oysters, baby. If you really want to check the heat, we can be a thermal couple, baby. Give me your sweet loving legacy. Heat things up with no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Oh, Canada. Jiffy Lube is here to keep you moving through mornings like these. Full synthetic oil changes, quality Pennzoil products, tire checks, battery tests, and everything else your car needs to get through our winters. Stop by Jiffy Lube for fast, easy, warranty-approved service. No appointment, no hassle. Just dependable service right when you need it. Jiffy Lube, keeping you moving through this.
Just in time for the morning skate. This is the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440.
Just after 8 o'clock, welcome back into the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas in for KK. Eddie Steele, former CFLer, co-hosting with us for another hour to go. Josh Femick, Donovan Paulson, both in studio. And it's time for On the Mark, brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Mike and the crew want to thank you for all the support in 2025. And even though it's 2026, let's not forget about the huge savings they have on 2025 still in stock. Save now at northgategm.com. We welcome in Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet. Spec, how are you doing this morning? It's Friday, heading into the weekend. The Olympics opening ceremony go today. Super Bowl on Sunday. You got to be feeling good heading into the weekend.
Yeah, go today or gone already? Have they happened yet?
The opening ceremonies?
Yeah.
I believe noon our time is when they go.
Noon our time? Okay, that'll be fun.
And now, hey, do not quote me on that because this is me trying to calculate time zones and even what time zone the thing I'm reading is describing. I think it's 8 o'clock Italy time, 8 p.m., if I'm reading this correct, which is CET, Central Europe time, if I'm not mistaken, which would be noon here because they're 8 hours ahead. So that's my best deductive reasoning. Don't hold me accountable for it.
Yeah, well, we're in for like 2.5 weeks of this, right?
Yeah.
This is one of those Olympics where you get all pumped to watch your favorite event, and you're like, okay, I got to go and get a couple things done, but I'm going to be back because I got to watch this event. And you get back, and there's like 2 skiers left because you missed it by 2 hours.
Exactly. I will give credit to the Canadian Olympic website because using the magic of everybody tracking us and knowing where we are all the time, the geolocators, wherever I'm accessing it from my laptop, it gives me the times in mountain time.
Okay, so that's where our guide should go, the COC's website. Is that where we're doing?
Yeah, that's what I've deduced is the best option for. And you can see you can filter it, so it's just Canadians participating or Canadian teams, or you can see everything for the full day. That's what I've been using here through the early going. But yeah, the actual Olympic opening ceremonies is not on that website, so I've had to go elsewhere to try and figure that out.
So when I covered a couple of those faraway Olympics in Sydney and Beijing. So in Sydney, you would cover a semifinal game. Then let's say it was at 7 o'clock at night. So there's a semi, and Canada's in it, and it's win or lose. Semi, you win or you're playing for bronze, and it doesn't matter as much. But you'd write it and you'd send the copy home. And before the guy in Edmonton picked up his paper off his front step, the gold medal game had already been played. So your copy that you worked hard on and traveled around the city to get and tried to make real good, it was like completely useless by the time the guy read it at home. So there's challenges with these games, certainly covering them. It's different now because everything's in real time. I'm talking newspaper days, but you never know. You're walking around Sydney for 3 weeks. You're living on Sydney time, but your job is on Toronto time. And you're like, probably you should be like that guy selling watches who's got 4 watches on his wrist at the same time. It's just goofy. That's all.
You're in your hotel room spec. You got to have it like those situation rooms where you've got all the different time zone clocks,
10 clocks
on there as you're filing your copy and everything, so you know exactly where you're at the world over.
And then you got to remember when last call is in wherever you are.
Very important.
That's
Very
the most important time.
Yeah, that would be a good one this year, Spec. You should be in Italy enjoying all the different wines and all the local tastings.
There's no last call there. That's not an issue in Italy for sure.
Yeah, I guess you'll just have to make do watching it from the comfort of your living room and enjoying some Italian wines on your coffee table instead.
Yeah, Olympics are too much work for an old dog like me. I'll tell you that right now. But I know I see Rashog's over there doing some reporting for TSN, which is good. Got an Edmonton guy.
Yeah, very
Dave Parker, his cameraman.
Hoping to catch up with Shagar at some point over the next couple of weeks and get word live from Italy. But listen, the schedule is tough for the athletes, of course. The people covering it, the time change doesn't help. But we'll see what we can do. As Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet with us here on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. So Spec, we're into the Olympic break officially. The final slate of NHL games went last night and went out with a little bit of a bang as that Florida and Tampa game, as has seemed to be the case every game they've played this year, and going back to the playoffs, of course, a lot of fireworks in that contest. Do you when you're watching that, do you kind of say like, man, this like both these teams have quite a few guys going to represent their countries, and but the animosity, you can't fake stuff like that. It's real between those two clubs.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like, it's nice to have a rivalry left in hockey where they actually drop the gloves, and lo and behold, Kachuk's in the middle of it, right? Imagine that. Shocker. So that's the one thing about having Kachuk on your team is you end up with those types of things. Like, he stirs the drink, man. That guy stirs the drink, and he wears the black hat, and it's, we don't all love the way he goes about it, but in the end, it's a lot of fun watching his teams play because everybody hates his guts out there. So I was actually watching that because I thought, why not? And you know what? Big fights and a bunch of guys going at it, and that's okay. Coach gets kicked out, Paul Maurice. Then that big Douglas guy, is it Douglas?
Oh, yeah. That's
went after Nico Mikkola, which is, there's a guy. Mikkola is going to the Olympics. He's probably on a plane right now.
Mm-hmm.
And this big goon jumps out there and starts beating on a skilled defenseman. That's where it crossed the line. Okay. I think even John Cooper, the Tampa coach, was a little embarrassed. Like, what are you doing? So, whatever.
A little bit of a bully out there.
Yeah.
Wow. Like, what are you doing? You're grabbing. What are you going to grab Quinn Hughes and beat him up? Like,
enough's
enough.
What
we do here?
Message has already been sent. Spec, I wanted to ask you a question just surrounding the Oilers and all the noise, just with the way that they've been playing. And, I was quite surprised, and it was brought to my attention, especially with the noise of Chris Knobloch, potentially being out as head coach, and Leon's comments and all of that stuff. And I firmly believe, and where my stand, I believe most of it is on the players for why they are in the rut that they're in. They're the ones out there who are not defending, not executing. Coach has some responsibility in the way he deploys and plays, but still, with the minutes you get, you got to do something with it. And I never thought that getting rid of Knobloch would have been the answer, because what are you going to do? You got rid of Tippett a couple years later. You get rid of Woodcroft a couple years later, Knobloch. And I was surprised to find out that the coach's average lifespan in the NHL is about 2.5 years. And that's just so shocking to me. When you look around the league, you have Bednar and Cooper. They're a couple of the longest tenured coaches. And you look at the Oilers here, they've turned through, like I said, 3 coaches since 2019, 2020. And why is that? Like, does the message just get lost that fast? Do you lose a room that fast? Because I'm so not used to that in a football culture where with superstars and a core, Edmonton has a core now, that you turn through coaches because you just lose the room. What's up with that?
I don't know. The football comparison, it's I don't know it's a really tough comparison. Football has all these unit coaches. I don't know how much a linebacker deals with his head coach compared to how much a defenseman deals with his head coach, right? we're talking 20 guys against 60 guys. So, I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I don't think I can make that comparison to football because I don't really have the breadth of knowledge. But certainly in a hockey room, like, I don't love this. Oh, we've tuned the coach out. Well, who's running this team? Who's running the show here? Is it a bunch of moody players that decide they don't like the coach anymore? To me, it's really, it works like this, Eddie. The general manager gives the coach, what do they always say? He gives them, he goes to the store and does the shopping, and he gives them all the ingredients, and it's the coach's job to turn the ingredients into a winning recipe. And if we look at the roster from the outside and go, well, it's a pretty crappy roster, there aren't very many good players, there's a lot less pressure on that coach, certainly externally, because how are you going to turn, the Vancouver Canucks into a champion right now? You're not. But when you've got a team, and the Oilers have been, frankly, when they had McDavid and Draisaitl and a bunch of guys, they were overrated. Everyone said, well, they should win now. And guys like Tippett were supposed to put a Stanley Cup on the table when they didn't have the ingredients, frankly. But a lot of people probably thought they should have. So I guess I'd say this to you. The only thing we know about the Oilers today is they do have the ingredients. They've been to 2 cups, right? I don't like this year's roster as much as last year. Stan Bowman's made some mistakes here for sure. And let's make this 100% clear. I am not firing Knobloch. I'm not blaming Knobloch. Firing him is a dumb idea. It hasn't even crossed my mind as a reporter. I would never do that. But, the responsibility does fall on it's a bigger responsibility for the coach that has the best players. For the guy sitting in Calgary right now, what, are you going to fire him? What's he going to do with that team? Right. So I guess heavy is the head that wears the crown, right, Eddie?
Fair. Good point.
Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet with us here on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440.
Hey, speaking of Calgary,
yeah,
sorry
go ahead.
to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
What do you think of Lomberg's comments yesterday?
Yeah, that was we had a few texts about that as the morning kind of progressed along too. It was pretty interesting. Pretty did you catch them, Eddie? Swiss cheese, yeah. Listen, I think if you're in the position the Flames are in, that does give you hey, you're not playing the Oilers again this year. So there's not going to be any repercussions on that front for things of that nature. And you're a Flames team that, frankly, just outworked an opponent that is outplayed an opponent that is better than you from a skill perspective and a roster perspective. And you talk about, like, you use the example of Ryan Huska as the head coach, and you're like, you're not going to fire him just because they're not winning very many games. The talent isn't good. But guess what? If anything, you commend a guy like Ryan Huska because he gets the most out of seemingly the ingredients he has. And a guy like Lomberg, I think, is a pretty good example of that.
I suppose, like, all the things you say are true. Lomberg's a useful guy. Huska's doing the best he can. Certainly on that night, he had a very prepared and ready team that beat the Oilers. I mean, they beat the Oilers in the scoreboard, and that's the only place that counts.
Yeah.
What were the shots? 39-24 or something?
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you they were vastly the better team, but they won the game and deserved to win the game, and no one's saying they didn't. I would just say to you that when I'm an 8-point player on a team that has won 2 playoff rounds in 20 years and is about to go on a rebuild, I kick a goal in the net and I'm ripping the other team's goalie, calling them Swiss cheese. Like, holy cow.
It's bold, man. But so the thing is, if there were to be, any quote unquote bell answering to be done, he's a guy that can do it. He's obviously pretty tough, and you send almost anybody after him, he's gonna answer it. So I don't know. We always say, right, Spec, and you know this better than anyone, as a guy that's been in the room and covering teams on day-to-day basis. We always want more out of players from a personality perspective, right? We want to actually peel back the layers of the onion a little bit and get some real answers. And then with the flip side, sometimes when that does happen, we criticize them for it and we say, why do these guys mouth off and things like that? So we can't have our cake and eat it too. So honestly, I don't have any problem with it.
Okay. I would say to you that I'm, as a guy that gathers those quotes, I'm all for it. Right. I never
totally,
give me the best you got. But if you're going to criticize another player's game directly, and that's pretty insulting, calling, another goalie Swiss cheese. We all know what that means.
For sure.
Right. I think you need a little gravita, don't you? You need a little bit of something to back that up. I mean, this guy's a 14-point player his whole career.
He's a disturber, though. I think he was reading the room. He he knew that there was some turmoil going on up north from Calgary here in Edmonton. I think he was just adding some fuel on the fire with those types of comments. He knows that the goaltending, the defending isn't right up here.
You are never, and I use never as loosely as I can here. You're never going to hear Connor McDavid, Sidney Crosby, Nate McKinnon, or Nikita Kucherov, the 120 plus point guys, say things like that because they don't have to. They're the best players in the world. They just go out there and do it. Lomberg, as Eddie said, he's a shit disturber, and as a result, he likes to throw things like this in, even when his actual play and skill level can't really back it up. If maybe his fist can necessarily. So
yeah, sure.
it does give a little bit extra jam to this rivalry that. The way the Flames are trending, and we expect the Oilers to remain competitive in this era of hockey, it might not have the most meaning a lot of the time, these games between the two of them.
Yeah, no, I wish they played again, right?
That's what I mean, right?
Exactly.
That would make for an interesting matchup.
Problem with this is by the time they play again, players will change. Guys will be here, guys will be there.
I think Lomberg's a UFA. He might not even be a Flame next year.
I was going to say, are you bringing Lomberg back in Calgary next year? Maybe. I don't know.
So
they got room for him. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like, there is, and call me old, but there is a little bit of a act like you've won a game before here for me.
Mm-hmm.
You win a game, you should, what do they say? I mean, say little when you win, or say little when you lose, say less when you win.
Right. It's well taken, and it is warranted to comment on for sure.
Okay, Spec, you're old.
Well, speaking, Eddie's out here throwing that around, talking about running their mouth a little bit. We just finished last segment. Eddie's talking about, it's Super Bowl Sunday. I'm going to sit at home by myself and watch the game and take my notes so nobody bothers me and disturbs me. What about you, Spec? You got any plans for Super Bowl Sunday here?
I'm not positive what I'm doing yet. I've got an invite to a house party. It's going to kind of depend on a few things here. I'm not a sit at home, watch the game and take notes particularly guy.
Well, you're not committed like Eddie then, I guess. What can I say?
I may swing out to an establishment and watch the game. It's going to depend on what Shelka's doing. Shelka likes the Super Bowl party, but not so much the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not I like the Super Bowl, of course, but I like it to come with all the fixings.
A bit of a social element.
I'm not sitting at home watching Super Bowl, although I hope I'm not anyway. I mean, you'd have to be a total loser to do that, wouldn't you?
Hey, Spec, watch it. Eddie said he turned down several invitations to go watch the game.
I got plenty of invitations.
To watch it by himself is purely a personal and professional choice. He's acting like a professional, Spec. He's got to be in here 7 a.m. Monday morning with Karius, who, by the way, will be returning from a week-plus vacation.
I'll have to carry it, man.
And probably in full mail-it-in Monday mode for KK.
I'll have to carry it. I have to break down this game.
Yeah. I'm not touching that.
I don't know. I'm going to have to revisit this with my wife now.
Last one, Spec. I know we're keeping it a little bit long today, but obviously the news yesterday, Seth Jarvis named as a replacement on Team Canada for Braden Point, who will be unable to represent Tampa Bay on behalf of Team Canada at the Olympics. A little bit disappointment, I think, for a good contingency of Oilers fans. Zach Hyman has done what would have been deemed required, I think, to put himself in the conversation for one of these spots. And this was a top 6 spot that opened up and very likely a potential opening beside Connor McDavid on the wing. Were you surprised to see a name like Jarvis come in? He was at the Four Nations. He's a great player, but it did seem like maybe Zach Hyman had garnered a little bit of traction as a potential injury replacement.
Yeah, I think you described it perfectly. I kind of thought that when Bennett got the first gig, I thought, that's fine. You know what? Sam Bennett deserves it. But I'll bet you Zach Hyman's got the next spot. And it turns out, certainly I was wrong. I'm not going to belittle Seth Jarvis. He's a really good player. He's a 30-goal guy. He's a right shot. All
he can
of those
play every position up front. Like he's,
I guess. I mean,
he's very versatile. He's very versatile.
Sure. Do they need another center? They got a million centers on that team.
Good point. Yeah.
So I don't think that matters that much. But it turns out, I mean, they've really brought back the Four Nations team here.
Essentially,
what they're doing. I don't know. They sure spent a lot of time scouting and looking and talking and having a big, what do they call that convention in Calgary where they brought in 100 players and everyone had to stay on the drug protocols and all that stuff. And then they went out and picked the exact same team. Now that team won right?
Good
The
point.
team won the Four Nations, so maybe that's the right. You deserve the right to return if you guys won. You better win again. There's a lot of pressure in this country, and they better not be wanting for goals off the right side. And if they are, Seth Jarvis better get a couple of them. Because I think we all know that Zach Hyman, if he went there and played with Connor McDavid, he'd score 3 or 4 in Olympic tournament or more.
Yeah.
So, I won't carve up Seth Jarvis. He's a very good player. He's quick and he can score. And I guess he can play center. I don't care that much about that in this roster. But it's too bad for Zach Hyman. I thought he would have been next in line.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are in a similar frame of mind on that. Spec, appreciate it. Have yourself a great weekend. And your best friend, Kevin Karius, will be back with you Monday morning for your 8 o'clock scheduled appointment. Take care, Spec. Have a good one.
All right, boys.
Mark Spector, Rogers Sportsnet, and On the Mark, powered by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. This truck's for you. When we come back, we will dive into the Super Bowl a little bit further with Eddie, and maybe we'll see what the other jabronis in the studio here are up to for Super Bowl Sunday. If they're going to sit at home and watch, taking diligent film and notes, study, or if maybe they will be cutting it a little bit looser, especially Donovan, who's got essentially nothing to do for 3 weeks straight now. Poor little guy will be
out here grinding.
Too much time on his hands to know what to do with. All that and plenty more. We'll go in or out with Donovan at 8:40. In the 9 o'clock hour, Zach Lang from Oilers Nation and Daily Faceoff will be with us. And then in 10 o'clock hour, Ian Herbers, head coach of the Golden Bears hockey team, as well as Jake Robinson from The Athletic, covers the NFL, will join us live from Santa Clara to further tee up the big game, the Super Bowl, on Sunday in Northern California. Brandon Douglas in for Kevin Karius here on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Business owners, if rising electricity costs are cutting into your profits, there's a smarter way forward. Right now, federal clean technology tax credits can cover 30 to over 50% of the cost of a commercial solar system, delivering an immediate return on your investment. And in Edmonton and Sturgeon County, the Commercial Clean Energy Improvement Program offers long-term financing for up to 20 years, making solar more affordable than ever. Lock in lower energy costs for decades and strengthen your bottom line. Visit GreatCanadianSolar.com to get started.
They're not just a grocery store. They're a butcher, a baker, a cafe, deli, rotisserie pizza, and restaurant, all under one roof. Loca Quality Market does food differently with 2 locations to serve you. Edmonton and Sherwood Park. Visit loca.ca.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
When it comes to sports in Edmonton, Jason Greger is a must-listen. He brings you the inside scoop with guests from across North America. If it matters in sports, you'll hear it here first. Greger rolls out weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports 1440.
Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru. Engineered for Canadian winters, built for real-life confidence. Tackle the ice and snow with Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive, delivering the power, control, stability, and grit you need. And when the temperature plummets, you'll cruise in comfort with heated seats and heated steering wheel. All this plus peace of mind with Subaru's top safety pick status for 19 years running. This winter, it's time to get you into a Subaru. Visit Subaru.ca today.
Crave is home to the reality hits everyone is talking about,
The stakes are high and trust is low.
including the Emmy-winning series, The Traitors.
The gloves are off, and we're going to be throwing haymakers right from the beginning.
Get ready for even more murder and mayhem from celebrity contestants like Mama Kelsey and Lisa Rinna.
I'm going to play this game in a way that no one's ever played it.
The Traitors. Stream now on Crave. Subscribe at crave.com.
Stories, guests, and insights. This is Sports 1440 and the Kevin Karius Show.
$8:25. Welcome back into the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas, Eddie Steele in studio this morning. Josh Femick, Donovan Paulson alongside as well. Working through the 8 o'clock hour. And Eddie, I wanted to let that song run a little bit more, see if you could bark a few.
Oh, here she comes. Watch out or she'll chew you up.
Nice. Way to rock it. Boy. I don't know why people give you such a hard time about your singing. I think you're great.
Me too. Thank you, Duke. I appreciate
You're
that.
welcome. You're welcome.
I am not lacking in confidence.
That's half the battle. And knowing is half the battle. Eddie, Super Bowl Sunday. It's the Seahawks. It's the New England Patriots. Spread remains at 4.5 points. It did not move the entirety of the past 2 weeks.
Rooted.
Are you surprised?
Nope, I'm not. And I want to ask you, if now is the time, unless in or out, it may arrive there. What is your official status in regards to the game, dude?
Is this in or out, Donovan?
There will be a certain spread-related question in and out.
All right, well, I'll leave it ambiguous for the time being. But let's dive into this a little bit rather than just focus on the result.
Yeah.
The Seahawks, I for my money, were the most consistent team the entirety of this NFL season.
I can get behind that.
No, unless we're talking what year, the 70, what was the perfect Dolphins year? Donovan, you're a Dolphins guy.
73.
70. Is that a guess, Josh? Okay, so unless you're the 73 Dolphins or nearly the 2008 Patriots, every team has up and downs. But the Seahawks, picture consistency this year.
Absolutely. Tough division.
In arguably the toughest division in football. They win it. They get the bye with the number 1 seed in the NFC.
72.
72.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold has answered the bell at every turn here. Just like the team, he was not without his flaws and bumps in the road. Obviously, turnovers, especially against the Rams and a couple real thrilling games, proved consequential. But here they are, back in it with a guy that has put himself in the conversation for the best receiver in football, a solid run game, a quarterback that manages the game well, and that's not an insult, it's a fact, and maybe the best defensive group in the entirety of the league.
And that's the X factor right there. D wins championships.
And then flip to the other side, the Patriots, a little bit more of the upstart, right? This team won 4 games last year. They have a second-year quarterback who just finished second in MVP
There we
voting,
go.
only to the savvy vet Matt Stafford, who, like I said, for my money, very deserving. If I were ever to be afforded a vote in this year, it would have been for Matt Stafford. But there's just something about the Patriots and the culture. It's a different coach. It's a different quarterback. It's an entirely different team than the last time they were in this position to play for a championship.
A hungry team.
But it's just something about the team that exists there. And listen, the offense doesn't blow anybody away, but the defense, underrated. And we talk about the offense, they don't blow anybody away. Look at the defenses they've beat on the way to the win to appearing in the Super Bowl. The Chargers, top 10 group. Texans, statistically the number 1 defense in the entirety of the NFL. And the Denver Broncos, they faded a little bit in the second half of the year, but still considered a premier group at all levels.
They're like a cockroach.
They find a way. They just won't go away and stick in games and utilize their talents best. So if I were just to ask you, what is the path to victory for each team to win this game on Sunday? Let's start with the Seahawks. What is it?
Defensively, stymie New England's offense. Limit them if you hold them to 17 points or less. You should run away with this one if you're Seattle. begins and ends with their defense and the defense's ability to limit New England's offense. And they don't have an overly explosive offense. They have a sturdy, consistent, steady offense.
Opportunistic is a word I've used a lot.
Rely on their
describe
running
them.
backs,
Yeah.
Getting third and short yardages. Don't put their quarterback in tough positions, the third and longs, right?
Mhm.
And that's what New England has success with. So for Seattle, it's going to be defensively. Yeah, Sam Darnold has the capabilities to pop off for over 300 yards.
Absolutely.
I think the play calling really is favorable for Sam Darnold's game. He does manage it, like you say, and managing a game is a good thing. You want a quarterback to manage a game.
Dude, like from my perspective, if CJ Stroud managed the game better, the Texans could be in this Super Bowl.
Totally.
And yes, that was the divisional round. They would have had to head to Denver and play in that blizzard, but just goes to show you don't have to play like an MVP game in and game out. There are times where if you're the quarterback in particular, you'll be leaned on to come up with the big play, and it might be singular. You might only really need to deliver in one moment over the course of a 60-minute contest.
Yes.
Whether it be a big conversion of a down, that perfect pass for a score, put it in any number of different specific scenarios. But you don't need to light it up for the entire game every time you're on the field.
No, you absolutely don't.
You can. That's great. Your teammates, I'm sure, would love you for it. But managing the game is a path to success. Now, for the Patriots, same question goes to you, Eddie. How do they win this game?
The simplest way of saying it, and I've heard many analysts say it, and I've said this from 2 weeks ago when on the Monday program when we found out who the Super Bowl, muck it up.
Right.
If New England can muck it up and just keep this thing tight, keep it an ugly game, keep it a fist fight, a brawl, have it, a 10-10 game, a 10-7 game at halftime, right? Just a game where they're in it still. That is going to be New England's path to success. Drake May, I think, will have to use his legs quite a bit, and he's a very mobile quarterback. And don't get it twisted. This guy is the MVP runner-up, I should say. So he's got some game to him. He can pass the football too. It's a controlled environment in terms of weather.
Yeah,
it's indoors. Outdoors.
It's outdoors, but
it's
weather
going to
not
be
to be a
good weather
factor.
out there at San Fran. By the way, it's pretty funny listening to the fellas in the program earlier talk about San Fran and having it as the host city. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, they were dogging.
Yeah, they were dogging
some of the stuff.
Yeah, they were dogging downtown.
They have a point. Like Santa Clara, where the actual stadium is, it's like an hour away from downtown San Francisco.
And we all kind of know what the vibes of downtown San Fran are. It's
not great.
Pretty dodgy. So if you can muck it up for New England, that's how it's going to be a game, and that's going to be your path to success. Just keep it ugly.
Eddie, you mentioned that the elements not being a factor. Not a single playoff game was played in a dome stadium. These playoffs.
Interesting. That's a cool little tidbit.
Yeah, it is interesting. And weather, was a factor
We saw
for
it.
a couple of them.
We saw that.
Right? We did see it. And it's interesting because almost every team, whether they're underway, planned, whatever, are moving to dome stadiums because they don't want that to play a role for better or for worse in future endeavors. Now, the Buffalo Bills remaining true to identity and fashion in the new facility at Orchard Park. They said that it's designed in a way to make wind not be as relevant at times. It's supposed to help cut off that, but we still get the opportunity for the Snow Bowl games, which being in Buffalo off the lakefront happens all the time, right? It's awesome. And then you still have places like MetLife and down in Pittsburgh, right? Like there's still plenty of places that have it because they're stadiums that have been around for long enough. But moving forward, it does seem like the trend is towards building ones with roofs on them.
Yeah.
Which
I get
it. I don't love it, but I get it.
I totally get it. As a player, yes,
hey, in the
elements,
CFL, man, we're talking about Canada into late fall. You've played in some pretty bitter conditions.
It's chilly and it can impact the game. And there's part of me where, I really like it. It's old school, it's classic. But then the other part of me, the soft side of me, really likes that indoor where you can go sleeveless and be comfy and cozy.
Eddie, this text came in from J-Dog. The text line 1-833-401-1440. Hey, I just happen to be looking for a small engine repair guy. What's the name of the guy Real Deal was talking about?
D's Small Engine Repair.
As in like the letter D possessive apostrophe
Yeah,
S?
exactly. Apostrophe S, Small Engine Repair.
All right, there you go, J-Dog.
Check that up on
shout out D's.
Google Maps, man. He'll get
There
you
you
right.
go.
Tell him Eddie Steele sent you, please.
You get a promo code Eddie. Eddie gets a referral rate.
Yeah, I get a little
Get
kickback
a
next time I go and see D.
Little kickback. Unreal. Gary. Could be either.
Dang, Duke.
Well, it's Gery.
Gery?
Yeah.
That's a Jerry.
I'm thinking Jerry.
That's probably not a Gary.
Gary like dairy. Like the Dairy Girls.
What's
That's a
Jerry
show.
got for us?
That's not important. The real question here is how do we pronounce his name? No, just kidding. Question: do you think the American athletes will be getting booed during opening ceremonies in Italy?
Yeah, I think there will be some boos. I don't think it'll be a drowning out of boos. I think that there will be. You'll hear some, though, for sure. Just on the world stage, Trump has put the USA in that light. That's the reality.
Oh, for sure it is. Now, do the people watching in Italy care enough to boo the Olympic athletes? I'm going to say no. And if there are any boos, they won't be enough that we'll be able to recognize.
That's what
it on
I
the
mean.
broadcast.
That's what I mean.
Okay.
It won't drown out. That's what I mean by drown out. You're not going to
Right.
hear an overwhelming woo. There might be some just because you got yahoos who want to protest everywhere.
Yeah.
But I don't think it'll be a huge issue.
Coach Al texted in beautiful vocals from Mr. Steele.
Thank you.
You know who sings that song, Maneater?
No.
Oh, I even tried to give it to you.
You did. You said
Hall & Oates.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Which in my my quick little Instagram doom scroll when I got home last night at 12:30 and before I went to bed, I don't know, my algorithm just all of a sudden kicked onto a big music thing. I was watching this clip of a live version of Footloose with Kenny Loggins, and I can't remember which half of Hall & Oates it was that they were like kind of figuring out the what do you call it when how you're putting a song together? Geez, the word escapes. But anyway, the way they build it, right? And for a live performance, we're like, all right, now you're going to come in at this time. And it's like a full couple minutes of them like going back and forth, the rest of the band about who's coming in at what time and how to make it the best live version of the song they can. Really cool. I love behind the scenes stuff like,
I like
that. Really, really interesting to me. When we come back, Eddie, we're going to go in or out. Donovan has had a great week with this segment. Josh, not so much yesterday.
What else is new?
He tried to get a basketball question in the mix, and maybe I'm the idiot. That would not be the first time, and it will certainly be far from the last. But to me, total bust of a question.
Guys out here flopping again, huh?
Now, Josh or Donovan, did you guys tag team today's questions, or is this a Donovan masterpiece?
This is we'll say inspiration from Josh on one of them because I was buddy, I literally just finished them now.
I just got them.
Just finished them now. So when you were asking me the question, buddy, that was the most distracted thinking I've ever had. It was a really, really strenuous list this morning, so I needed a little bit of a inspiration from Mr. Fenwick, but we got her done.
Got her done.
All right, hey, nothing wrong with a little collaboration. I can dig it.
Little inspo.
I love it. That's what we'll do. In or out. Women return here on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas in for Kevin. We got Eddie Steele, the former CFLer, the Grey Cup champion, alongside, and the tag team tandem extraordinaire of Josh Fenwick and Donovan Paulson behind the boards as well. We're streaming. You can watch us on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
60 years ago, we started selling trucks as Western GMC Buick. Today, we are Wolf GMC Buick. We're still located on the corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road with the same ownership for over 2 decades. Our customers have trusted our family-owned, community-driven business. And for that, we are thankful. If you're looking for a truck or SUV, pop in and one of our seasoned professionals will get you a great deal, hassle-free. Come trust our team at Wolf GMC Buick. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Shoulder pain. It can make even the simplest things like reaching up, lifting a bag, brushing your teeth, or sleeping frustrating. Rotator cuff strains, impingement, arthritis, they're some of the most common issues we treat every day. I'm Grant Fedoruk, and at Leading Edge Physio, our team brings postgraduate training, evidence-based technology, and just the right amount of humor and humility to help you feel better. Because we never forget the most important part, the gratitude we feel for every patient who allows us the opportunity to care for them. Because life shouldn't hurt. When it does, leadingedgephysio.com.
Welcome, gentlemen, to the nerve center of game-watching greatness, my sanctuary, my bro zone.
Whoa, giant screen, comfy chairs. You've thought of everything.
Almost everything. Where are the snacks? We can't cheer on Canada without the proper fuel.
Way ahead of you. Wilhauk Beef Jerky, the official snack of the Bro Zone.
For a truly Canadian snack to cheer on our truly Canadian athletes, you need Wilhauk Beef Jerky, made with Alberta pride, right here in Leduc.
Ooh, girl, the way you touch that thermostat, it really turns me on. Like a heat exchanger, sensual phenomenon. Wanna play your favorite song when we turn the heating on like a legacy of love.
Legacy Heating and Cooling keeps your Valentine sizzling hot. You can afford to shower your Valentine with affection because Legacy offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. And that's how you build your legacy of love. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in as we talk about the game. It's all sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Don't get left in the cold. Visit legacyheating.ca.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Winter in Alberta doesn't mess around.
And neither does Titan Supply.
For over 50 years, we've earned the trust of our customers across a variety of industries.
Because we lead with integrity,
honesty,
and respect.
I'm Joe.
And I'm Brent from Titan Supply. When the weather hits hard,
we're fully stocked with rigging, lifting, and hauling gear that works as hard as you do.
Titan Supply.
Built on trust, driven by safety.
Serving Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, and Calgary.
Let us help you face the weather the Titan way.
Visit titansupply.ca.
Stories, guests, and insights. This is Sports 1440 and the Kevin Karius Show.
Welcome back. It's the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440 coming up on 9 o'clock here in the Capital Region. Another beautiful day, beautiful weekend on tap. So get out, enjoy it if you can. Lots of things to take in. Oil Kings in action tonight. Golden Bears hockey at the Drake taking on the number 1 seeded UBC Thunderbirds. And Eddie, you picked a dandy this Friday to get us moving and shaking into the weekend. I believe our YouTube viewers got a brief view into that momentarily there as we were...
They get the view in, but they don't hear the music.
No, they couldn't hear the music. It was Rapper's Delight, Sugar Hill Gang. Great song. So upbeat, so positive.
Yeah, it gets you
and great
going.
flow.
Oh, totally, man.
Love the flow.
Totally.
This news came down. We're going to talk about it here in or out earlier this hour, right at the top of the hour, matter of fact. Long time Blue Jays broadcaster, player, manager. He has done it all, Buck Martinez, and been a real... inspiration the past couple of years as he has battled cancer, undergoing treatments, and still returning to his role inside the broadcast booth alongside Dan Schulman. He's going to be retiring. Is it after this season, Donovan, or is his retirement as of today?
As of today.
Wow. So, yeah, the voice of the Blue Jays for so many of us that have watched this team growing up, going back, to when he's calling the game as play-by-play. Of course, more recent years, just doing the color commentary, the iconic voice, the insight on the game from his time as a player, the infamous play at the plate where he breaks his leg and still gets the out, managing teams in the major leagues, managing a World Baseball Classic team, if my memory serves me correct, at one point going back a number of years. Just an
He's
absolute
touched it all.
Just an absolute icon of forget baseball, forget the Blue Jays, of sport, and really, really cannot stress how much I commend his career and wish him the very best here and best of health moving into retirement, which is so well deserved at this stage. I mean, I think for Buck, don't want to speak for him, but if I was trying to guess, I would think the opportunity to call a World Series this past fall, obviously the Jays came up just short, but you have to think that served as a real cherry on top of just a spectacular career, and really no better way to go out than even, the only better way could have been the Jays to win, but Sportsnet carrying the playoff broadcast all the way through and him and Dan on the call the whole way.
That's special.
Really special for those of us as viewers, getting that our hometown feed on a team all the way through. So great stuff. We're going to talk about that here in just a few moments, because it's time for Are You In or Are You Out?
I got to go 9 sharp.
I thought you would go, I'm in, Bob, and we would have had a really cool moment, but you kind of ruined the whole thing.
All right, Donnie. Let her buck. Young Buck.
Alrighty, fellas. First and foremost on this in or out extravaganza, I'm expanding the spread. I'm not giving. I'm saying the Seahawks will win the Super Bowl by at least a touchdown.
So Donovan is taking alternate line, Seahawks -6.5. Are you willing to go even higher, Donovan?
I might be willing to go a smidge higher, but I'm not going to say
you got
too
8.5
much
in you.
I might go up to 8.5.
Bet 20.
I'm saying at least a touchdown for the
20?
purposes of this.
Bet 20.
Eddie has become addicted to betting in the studio.
8.5, 20. Got 20 on it.
How about remember earlier when you challenged the texter BC Oiler to the question about the Olympics and where the Team Canada would finish? He said, tell Eddie that if I'm going to make crazy bets like he did on the Super Bowl, I'm going to go on an actual betting site and get proper odds. And a little laughing, crying face to go along with it. So I'm in on this, Donovan. I think I mentioned it earlier in the week. I too may sprinkle an alternate line on this game, because while everything we just talked about last segment is true about the Patriots, and I give them a ton of credit for getting here. Just, they've taken a lot of criticism for the schedule they've played and the opponents, and even in the playoffs. Yeah, great defenses, but the offenses they were up against really fell flat for the respective teams of Chargers, Texans, and the Broncos. The Seahawks team is really good, and I think they're better at almost every level, maybe with the exception of the actual quarterback position, which matters a lot, but you're talking about a second-year quarterback versus a savvy vet that has seen a lot of trials and tribulations in his career, and I don't think that is lost on Sam Darnold. He has been to a Super Bowl before as a backup with the Niners. That experience does play a role if he didn't play in the game, so this past week, maybe managing the distractions, the hoopla of the circus that is Super Bowl week. I like the Seahawks a lot in this game, so by a touchdown or more, I'm in on that.
I'm out. Taking New England. Standing 10 toes down on that.
So, like,
any given Sunday,
your pick for the Super Bowl is
my pick is
Patriots
New England
+4.5, or you like the Patriots to win outright, or what?
I'm money lining, baby.
Really?
Wow.
Money lining Patriots.
Really going against the public, eh?
I really am, and I've heard people say it. And
hey, there must be a ton of public money on the Patriots still, because, like I said, the line has not moved, which I am floored by.
Yeah, that's a good point, Duke. But man, they could any given Sunday. Right. And I know Seahawks, their roster is better. Their team is better overall, but there's just something about this Mike Vrabel led team that has me believing. And I don't like New England. I'm not a Patriots guy whatsoever. I like the underdog and the way that they've gotten there and the scrappiness that they are. They're blue collar, and I love it.
It's impressive, and there's just something about the Patriots and the fact Mike Vrabel's the coach. I know how much you love what he brings to the table, Eddie.
He's
as
a
former
serious
player.
coach, man.
He clearly has the pulse on that team and knows how to push all the right buttons.
And we talked about it earlier. I forget who we were discussing it with. Some coaches are great at the X's and O's, but it's about the people.
Yeah.
And when
the motivation,
yes,
the buttons to press.
When you can rally a room full of men and motivate them the way Vrabel did, and he was one of those guys too, so that always helps at being a former player and a successful winning player. Man, he just, like you say, he pulls the right strings, pushes the right buttons, and knows how to get guys to play for him.
Speaking of Mike Vrabel, did you see his him winning Coach of the Year last night? The in terms of I forget who it was announcing, but Mike Verbal.
Yeah, and then there was a couple
twice.
Couple of funny ones yesterday.
Not once, but twice. Winning Coach of the Year. It's Mike Verbal. Everybody. Mike Verbal.
2-time Coach of the Year. Obviously won it with the Titans as well. And I believe I heard a story after he won that award that he's a big racehorse guy. And he bought a horse after winning that and named it Cody. C-O-T-Y.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
So
I like that.
Maybe Cody the second could
like
be in store here.
Being Coach of the Year in 2 different organizations, like clearly you're doing something right.
I mean, listen, when the Titans fired him, everybody said this is a bad decision.
Yeah.
Like even if you try to approach it with the mindset like, all right, Titans are heading in a different direction, need the fresh voice, they're transitioning. All that rolled in, it's still like, who better to try and lead you out the other side than Mike Vrabel? Like it was just a short-sighted move by the organization. And now look at where they're at. The coaching, obviously Bob Sal is going to come in and try and turn things around on that front. And the Patriots in 1 year go from a back-to-back 4-win seasons to a 14-win season and a Super Bowl appearance.
Cody times 2.
Cody times 2.
Off to number 2, fellas. Of course, the news of Buck Martinez retiring today. For me, he's going to go down as a top 3 Canadian commentator of all time.
So before I answer, I want a little bit of clarification here. Is it just Canadian like sports broadcasters?
I'm saying sports
play-by-play man, color man, or just all-encompassing broadcaster?
All-encompassing sports broadcaster.
Okay.
So you can include a guy like Bob Cole in there.
Right.
You can include, legends of sports. But
right.
for me, I'm limiting it to Canadians, but he is without a doubt one of the GOATs.
Eddie, you take the lead on this one.
Yeah, I'd say he's up there. Only really the other one comes to mind for me that would be my GOAT is Chris Cuthbert.
Yeah.
I love Chris Cuthbert.
And the fact that Cuthbert obviously called CFL for a long time. Obviously, he is the voice of the NHL in Canada right now. He's the national broadcast lead man.
He's done Olympics.
Does the Maple Leafs, does Olympics, the iconic golden goal call, of course. Times 2 now when you talk about the Sidney Crosby 2010 and Connor McDavid this past winter, or a year ago now already. Crazy to think. But so you mentioned Bob Cole. To me, he is the best that I've ever heard do it. Just the voice, the touch on the game about knowing when to not talk, things like that. So if I'm going Bob Cole, Chris Cuthbert, I think because of longevity, because of impact and things, I can put Buck Martinez in at number 3 on this list. So I guess that makes me in.
And I call Buck Martinez in this Canadian because Buck Martinez is just synonymous with the Blue Jays. He's synonymous with Canadian sports. And while he is an American, I like Buck Martinez in terms of Canada and guys we've had stay here forever. Like Buck Martinez.
I mean, he obviously spends a lot of time down in Florida still, but he lives in Toronto. Right, like he calls 162 Blue Jays games a year. Obviously, a few less these past number of seasons going through his aforementioned cancer treatments. But like he is absolutely a Canadian, even if unofficially so. But it's just really like I could talk about Buck and the icon, and it's always fun. We were even doing in the commercial break like the impersonations because the voice is so distinctive. And
he coming out with the pitch is a little wide to the right.
Now the Blue Jays are batting .500 up against right-handed pitchers when the temperature is 73 degrees exactly. Just it's great stuff in the sport of baseball. The broadcasters are so important because the dog days of summer and games that get out of hand, and you got position players and pitching this, that, and everything else. And then this by MTR, of course, is all time when he was doing more play-by-play stuff. Get up ball, get out of here for the home runs. Iconic. it's synonymous with the Blue Jays. It's synonymous with sport in Canada. So I'll absolutely go ahead and put him inside my top 3.
So many great options, but for me, he has to be
38 years. I just got the official notification came across. 38 years in the booth.
Cool. Longevity.
Unbelievable. This conversation's going to spark from something we talked a little bit about off air today. If you're doing an A and a B team for Team Canada, you need to do a draft and not have just one all-encompassing loaded team.
I'm going to be out on this because I think if you were to actually come out and say, all right, here's our, and listen, they wouldn't be lost on the players. The team that has Crosby, McDavid, McKinnon, Cale Makar, and then fill out the rest of the roster however you want. That's clearly your A team. But think about the motivation for the B team. These are a collection of still some of the very best players in the world. And by their own country, they're denoted as second class, essentially.
And think of the players that would be on that roster.
This year alone.
The Scheifele's and the Hymans and all the people that
it would. I mean,
people are arguing
get
for.
a little thin at goaltending, I suppose, to a certain extent, seeing as how the top, the A team might be a little thin on goaltending.
But it would be Blackwood would be their starter.
Oh, like this. You're still getting good players without a doubt, but at every position, obviously. But no, I just for purely watching and the entertainment value and storylines, I would like to see an A team and a B team.
I like that. I'm in for that exact reasoning, Duke. I was leaning towards the draft just to be Mr. Cute and, fair for everybody, but I love the motivation for the B team.
A draft would be fun too, because you're talking about like turning it into a spectacle and doing it live in some way or another, sort of like we saw at the All-Star game when they were doing that format. But then I think you also might like who's drafting the teams. Do you pick a
team of have-nots?
Do you have 2 GMs? The 2 coaches? It could be interesting. But then all of a sudden, is it just based on preference? Like Doug Armstrong or if it's Julien Brisebois, much like John Cooper, they're going to take all the Sorellis, the points, the players that some Canadians don't think should be there. But besides the point, we'll scoot along here, Donovan, after you have a comment, because Eddie's on a tight schedule today. He's got to hit that porcelain throne lickety split.
No. Elks Nation, baby. We got a special guest.
Oh boy. Okay, we'll get to that in a moment, but we'll rip through here.
I just think if you were to take an A and a B team for Canada, you want to give yourself the best chances to win multiple medals. And
wrong.
Not saying that
you want to win a gold medal.
I think you'd win a gold and a silver if you did that. Could you imagine one team anchored by Nathan McKinnon, one team anchored by Connor McDavid, and then you sprinkle in the Cale Makar onto one team, you sprinkle in
a Bouchard on the other.
But all we've talked about for the past 10 years is wanting to see Nate McKinnon and Connor McDavid play together.
And Sid all on the line.
Yeah. Careful, Donovan. That desk is an anchor down.
Did I just get him? Did I get him, Randy?
I didn't know we had earthquakes this far.
Off to number 4, fellas. Obviously, the Hall of Fame class comes out last night for the NFL. For me, Torrey Holt. He is officially taking over the Alex McGillney role as the most overlooked non-Hall of Famer. Cross sport wide.
Eddie, you're the football guy. You lead on this one.
Yeah, this is a good question. I haven't dug really into Torrey Holt's numbers. I know he's up there on the all-time list. It wasn't at the forefront of my mind that he was being snubbed like this. So to be honest, I don't really have like a legit football answer for Torrey Holt in terms of why he's not in the Hall of Fame. I don't know how many All-Pros and how many he was All-Star games he's been a part of.
I mean, he obviously played at the same time as a guy like Randy Moss, who is considered one of the best ever. But like Torrey Holt was right there. He like in terms of a generation of receiver. And when we talk about Hall of Fames, that's one of the arguments that gets used, right? Was he the best at his position?
What's his numbers? Career numbers? Do you have it?
I have it in front of me.
Is he over 13,000 yards?
He is over 13,000. He is in front of guys like Andre Reed, Steve Largent. He is in front of some of the greats in the game. He's 17th all time in yards. Like you look at he has everything you could ever want in a Hall of Fame receiver. He has the longevity. He has the career peaks. Like he had
won a Super Bowl,
8 consecutive virtually 1,200-yard seasons. He was a
That's
Pro
serious.
Bowler basically every single season out of those 8 years. First team All-Pro 1 year. Never had he was obviously writing second fiddle at times, but you look at those numbers and who cares?
And so
those are good numbers.
So how about this? So this was the 7th year he was a finalist, but misses out on a spot in Canton, and now will only be eligible to get in as a senior member. So it's that different kind of categorization of
even
application to get in.
even harder.
And this year was tough because all of a sudden Larry Fitzgerald comes up eligible, right? And he's a no-brainer for first ballot guy.
Totally.
So it's when we're talking Hall of Fame, it always seems like, okay, yeah, sure, he gets to get in, but it's not unlimited how many players can get in every year. It's finite.
I was surprised and pleased to see Luke Kuechly get
Very
into the
well
Hall of Fame.
deserved.
Very
Because
pleased.
so often players like that, defensive guys. I mean, how many O linemen are in the Hall of Fame, right? Like the trenches players, they get overlooked because it's not glitz and glam like Torrey Holt, the greatest show on turf. But with that being said, very absolutely deserving to be in there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm going to be I know Greg's was all over the Alex McGillney beating that drum for forever in the Hockey Hall of Fame, but I'm going to be beating Torrey Holt for a long time. Off to number 5 today, National Frozen Yogurt Day. I'm saying, other than celery, there is not a more pointless food.
What a shot at celery here. He's throwing in here in the mix. I mean, hey, you won't get any argument from me. I think celery sucks. Dress it with peanut butter, dress it with cheese whiz, put whatever you want on it. It sucks. But frozen yogurt, I'm on record saying, to quote Ron Swanson, be ice cream or be nothing.
Exactly.
Ron Swanson.
But at the same time, hey, it's still good. I like
It
frozen.
is good.
I like frozen yogurt, especially when you head to the little shops. Like there's a number of different options you can do, and you dump as many blue whales on there in the little toppings bar you get and the different flavors. So I'm in the sense that just be ice cream, but I'm also out. I'm a fence rider on this one that it is still good. Like putting it in the same camp as celery is blasphemous. That's crazy.
Celery's not even that bad. Cilantro
It doesn't
is
do
that
well. That's
bad.
just a genetic thing because you obviously, if you're this out on it, it tastes like soap.
You like it?
Oh yeah, I like
It's
it.
not soap. It doesn't taste like soap. It tastes like yuck. I've
So,
tasted plenty of
does
soap.
Does soap not
No,
taste
I've
like
tasted
yuck?
plenty of soap.
You and me both.
Oh.
I almost choked on a bar of soap when I was a kid when my mom put it in my mouth for cussing.
Just way in the back. Mom, you don't need to shove your fingers down my throat. Like
Well, then you'd have to give me the Heimlich to get it out of my trachea.
exactly. I only said the S word. I didn't say the F word. Like, come on, Mom.
Yeah, I wasn't dropping C-bombs up in here, Mom. Come on, chill.
That's heavy duty. If you ever drop
No,
that, to your
I
mom.
reserve those for when I was out. Listen, said plenty of times around my family members, but only when we're like sorting cattle together and stuff like that. So all bets are off there. Eddie, you got a big show coming up with the Elks Nation here. Special guest, you're able to reveal.
Cordell Jackson.
Nice.
So
right
it'll
on.
be a good one. Break into some defensive schemes and things of that nature. See what he's up to this offseason. So
Okay, well,
been a
Eddie,
good one.
have a great weekend. If you do get bored of watching the Super Bowl yourself and you want to come over and join in on my party that I will be attending, you're welcome to. Bring your clubs. We can get 88.5 in action on the sim. And I promise we won't talk your ear off with questions that you find dull because you think football at a higher level than the rest of us.
Crusty. I'm not that crusty. All right, guys. Take care.
Take care, Eddie. Have a great weekend. Eddie Steele, all-decade team.
I like that.
It was top of mind, Eddie.
I like
Tell you what, Eddie, you're a Hall of Famer in my mind. And Eddie's trending towards Buck Martinez style career. Legend on the field, legend in the radio booth, in the broadcast booth, and doing obviously talk radio with us here for coming up on 2.5 years. An excellent part of our programming here at Sports 1440. The all-decade team member, Grey Cup champion, Double E legend, Eddie Steele. Already out the door and gone. Not even a stop in the bathroom first. When we come back, we'll check in with Josh Fenwick from across the board. The NBA trade deadline has come and gone. Who are the winners? Who are the losers? The Raptors, after their move yesterday, we discussed about acquiring a center from the Golden State Warriors. Otherwise, remaining pretty pat. So we'll dive into that with Josh a little bit when we return at 9:20. Zach Lang from Oilers Nation and Daily Faceoff will be with us, and then at 9:40 we'll catch you up on maybe some of the happenings from today at the Olympics. What's going on? What is still to come? And some of the weekend scheduling that you're looking forward to with the opening ceremonies set to go later on today. Before that, let's get to a Sports 1440 update brought to you by First Round. Sundays got even better at First Round, and what could be better than the big game? You can win a jersey. Of course, if you got your tickets, whether winning them, through us or getting them elsewhere, you can get your name in for that home entertainment system draw. All the good stuff happening at First Round, and they'll still have their awesome Pro Bowl brunch for you as well. Only at Edmonton's NFL headquarters, First Round, downtown or on Bourbon Street. Here is Donovan Paulson.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
On the hard court tonight, you've got the Knicks in Detroit to take on the Pistons. The Celtics hosting the Heat. The T-Wolves clash with the Pelicans. Pacers and Bucks. The Kings battle the Clippers, and the Trailblazers, they are hosting the Grizzlies. Some local action in town tonight. You're going to see the Oil Kings hosting the Moose Jaw Warriors. Puck drop going just after 7 o'clock. Some other hockey action at the Olympics. It is the women's draw. You're going to see, you've seen Japan edge out France, and this one looks like it's going to overtime. Czechia and Switzerland knotted at threes just at the end of the third period. In case you missed it last night, the NFL's Hall of Fame class includes Drew Brees, Larry Fitzgerald, Luke Kuechly, Adam Vinatieri, and Roger Craig. The awards, Matt Stafford is your MVP. DPOY, Myles Garrett, after getting all 50 votes. And JSN is your Offensive Player of the Year. Coming up on Sports 1440, Josh Fenwick going to give his thoughts on some NBA trade deadline news. I'm Donovan Paulson. That is your Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Free trips, free iPads, a barbecue, a wood stove, the #1 dealer in the world. What? Who cares? How about no pressure, a great deal, finance rates as low as 0%, trade values you can be happy with, and an indoor showroom. And we're pretty good people. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
This jersey was worn by the legend himself, signed and everything. You can't just wear it. I'm framing it with expressions and images.
Your prized jersey deserves better than the closet. Think Expressions and Images, your local custom framer since 91. You name it, we frame it.
Yeah, I'm getting expressions and images to frame my hockey card collection in the man cave.
Perfect. I'll come with you and bring our wedding photos. For sports memorabilia and family treasures, think Expressions and Images, your local custom framer since 91. You name it, we frame it.
Because Legacy offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. And that's how you build your legacy of love. Legacy heating and cooling.
Oh, Canada. Jiffy Lube is here to keep you moving through mornings like these. Full synthetic oil changes, quality Pennzoil products, tire checks, battery tests, and everything else your car needs to get through our winters. Stop by Jiffy Lube for fast, easy, warranty-approved service. No appointment, no hassle. Just dependable service right when you need it. Jiffy Lube, keeping you moving.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
Back into the Kevin Karius Show. Just after 9 o'clock here in Edmonton on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas in for Kevin. One final morning before I return to my dutiful spot behind the board where we got Donovan Paulson on the ones and twos, Josh Fenwick taking on his usual role, keeping us on track on our video streams, YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, all available for you there. And if you're listening, the AM dial in the vehicle or at home is great, but you can also stream iHeartRadio, the TuneIn app, and Radio Player Canada as well. How about this one from Justin out of the blue? And I'm just going to read it to you guys and see if you're any smarter than me. Hey, fellas, who do you got for the Daytona 500 next Sunday? Justin, I'm going to be very frank with you. I cannot maybe name one NASCAR driver. Is Denny Hamlin still racing? Joey Logano?
Buddy, your guess is as good as mine.
Are those active NASCAR racers? I know they were.
Is Kyle Busch still active?
Jeff Gordon's retired. I know that for sure.
Dale Earnhardt's definitely retired.
Well, Dale Earnhardt has passed away, Donovan. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is also retired. Danica Patrick retired.
Kyle Busch, is he still a thing?
Yeah, that might be a good one, Donovan, actually. Funny enough, I have never been a NASCAR guy. You know, my biggest endeavor into NASCAR is when I watch Talladega Nights. How's that? But when I was younger, growing up, like in junior high and high school, my buddy on his original Xbox. So I guess maybe this is before high school. We're talking like upper elementary and junior high. He had the game NASCAR Thunder 2004 for the Xbox, and that game actually rocked. It was so fun. Picture Gran Turismo, except you just drive in a circle the whole time instead of around city streets. So, Justin, apologies, man. I wish I had a better answer for you, but I think those of us in studio a little bit out of our wheelhouse here, unless Josh, you have no, he's shaking his head. He ain't got nothing for us.
We were actually 3 for 3 on current drivers.
All right. Good for us.
Let's go.
These boys know cars. They know cars. Hey, it's our buddy Playbook Vic texting in. Howdy, boys. How you been doing? First time listening live in a while. Miss you guys. Have a great show. Hey, Playbook Vic, glad to have you in. Excuse me. I know the new gig that you've recently got yourself doesn't lend itself to live listening as much, but we're always great when you can tune in. And of course, if you're tuning in on the podcast after the fact, hey, that's great. Feel free to, when you're listening on a podcast, send Kevin or I an email. We're happy to respond that way. Obviously, texting is great for the live time, but if you got a question or a follow-up to something we say on the show, we're happy to take them. Kevin at sports1440.ca or Brandon at sports1440.ca is how you can get a hold of us. Whether it be longer form or outside of when we're in studio, text hours wise. And if you want to send a message on Twitter, that's totally cool too. My DMs are open. Try and keep it above board if you're dipping in there, of course. But Guy, hate to tell you, Dennis Hamlin and his family died in a plane crash. Donovan, you just fact checked.
But there's a D Hamlin in here. I didn't click on it. I just assumed it was. This is Denny Hamlin.
As opposed to.
James Dennis Hamlin is a professional driver who just raced this last weekend.
It says he provided an update on his mother's health weeks after. Are you thinking of somebody else, Guy?
Yeah, you definitely thinking of somebody else because he is alive as of 16 hours ago.
I was going to say, man, I would feel really bad about that. So Dennis Hamlin. Yes. Oh, but he says Dennis Hamlin, who was Denny's dad, passed away in a house fire at 75 this past December. So that is sad. But plane crash. Yeah, Guy Trakin going a little bit of a different direction there. But anyway, BJ, do you think the Olympic roster will be different if the Oilers won one or both of the last 2 cups? BJ, that's a really good question. I would say yes. I think Zach Hyman, so maybe this is the question. If Zach Hyman did not get injured this past year, does that help the Oilers win the cup? Well, it certainly would have given them a better chance, right, when you talk about his impact on the team. But it also means he would not have missed the first month and a half or so of this season, which I do think mattered. I really do. Once he started playing, there wasn't a ton of adapting. He came in and was like, hey, I might not have my touch back yet. Let me just go around and hit everybody that moves, right? Like, Zach Hyman can just touch the game in so many different ways. But also, if the Panthers had not won one or either of these past two cups, does that impact Sam Bennett's? Well, even if the Panthers had lost this year, Sam Bennett still scored, 15 goals in the playoffs?
He was a stud.
Just because you don't win, that doesn't take away from how many goals you score, right? Like Connor McDavid won the Conn Smythe the year previous for his individual performance. So I would, I don't think so. The only exception being, and this isn't necessarily contingent on winning, but if Zach Hyman hadn't got injured, I think his chances would have been better this year. It's disappointing. I absolutely think he deserves to be there, but at the same time, I can see where they're coming from. Seth, when Kevin and I did our roster predictions on New Year's Eve, Seth Jarvis was on my original team. I like him as a player, but I also recognize how much this Team Canada brain trust covets him. People were surprised when he was put on the Four Nations team.
I wouldn't have him anywhere near my team personally. I like Seth Jarvis, the player. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a really, really good player, and people are severely underrating just how good he is. But to me, this was the perfect spot for a Scheifele, I'll say Zach Hyman. There was much better options to me than Seth Jarvis. I know you say he can play all three forward positions, but man, to me, he's not a center. To me, on this team, he's just a bench warmer. He's a guy who's going to sit up in the press box and he's going to eat his popcorn and he's going to be along for the ride and get a free trip to Italy. He's going to have a nice sightseeing tour. I don't know, but I wouldn't have taken Jarvis. Great player, like I said, but man, this was prime Scheifele or Hyman territory. But I will say to the if the Oilers did win the cup, to me, Evan Bouchard would have been on this team.
Really?
Yeah.
Everything else equal.
But look at how many prioritized Stanley Cup champions there are on
how many Florida defensemen are on Team Canada?
But there's no real choices for Team Canada.
Aaron Ekblad.
Yeah, but Aaron Ekblad wouldn't even make the B team.
I don't think that's true.
To me, Aaron Ekblad wouldn't make the B team. Just based on the other right shot D-men, the lefty are weak for Canada, but the right shot D are crazy deep.
Maybe that's something we can dive into with our next guest, Zach Lang from Oilers Nation and Daily Faceoff. We'll talk some Oilers, we'll talk some Team Canada, and the NHL as a collective. With Zach, we'll table our NBA talk for 9:40, giving Josh a little bit more time to prepare and be as prepped as possible for my barrage of questions about the happenings of yesterday's NBA trade deadline. I'll finish on this one from Hontorio Moms. Boys, Brandon Hagel is slowly becoming my favorite non-Oiler player for his nonstop fights with that wiener Matthew Tkachuk, that is, on Florida. Hey, Hontorio Moms, if you're late to this party, Brandon Hagel's a hell of a hockey player. And you talk about a guy that plays with some edge, some grit. He's a Rebels legend, so you know that that's good, playing for Red Deer in his junior days. And, dude, even when he was with Chicago, when he kind of, burst in to the NHL, look at what Tampa Bay gave up to get him. This was a player that the Lightning and others likely identified as, man, this could be a big part of what we want to do moving forward. And now here he is, about to go represent Tampa Bay at the Olympics, the last forward for Tampa Bay, which originally had 11 Olympians on their roster. A couple short of that now with Point and Cirelli, but they got Chernak going for the Czechs. They got Moser going for the Swiss. They got a German guy that's with their minor league team. They're very well represented even now without these two, but Brandon Hagel will still wear the maple leaf for Tampa Bay moving forward. Sorry, go ahead.
Before we cut to break, do I buy a Brandon Hagel jersey or a Tom Wilson jersey?
Like a Team Canada jersey?
Yes.
Ooh.
I'm between those two. I want to buy one.
Me personally, I'd be going Hagel because I'm biased because he's a Rebels legend.
I love Brandon Hagel's game so much, but I also love Tom Wilson's game. I don't know. I'm stuck. Listeners, help us out. I know Zach's chilling in the studio, so we'll get the break here. But Zach, if you want to have a chime in after two, feel free. I'm open to suggestions.
Zach Lang, when we return from Oilers Nation and Daily Faceoff. It's the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas in for Kevin one final morning. Josh Fenwick, Donovan Paulson, both alongside as well. You can watch. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Friday night calls for family fun that's second to none, starting with a big party. And tonight at Rogers Place, it's the Oil Kings mascot Louie's birthday bash, presented by Bloom Benefits. Edmonton faces the Moose Jaw Warriors. Local mascots will be in the house for Louie's big day, and every fan in attendance gets a card for their chance to win a fun Louie prize. Plus, score Calmont Kids food combos for $10 or less. The value is lion-sized. Oil Kings, Warriors, Louie's birthday bash, tonight at 7. Great family entertainment starts at just $20 a seat. Tickets and more at oilkings.ca.
Exciting news from St. Albert Dodge. The all-new 2026 Jeep Gladiator Sport packages have arrived. They have a great selection and a bunch of colors to choose from. And if you've checked out the Sport, you know it comes in some fun colors. Rugged capability, practical off-road features, and you can get behind the wheel for as low as $49,900. That's right. Put yourself in a brand new Jeep Gladiator Sport for less than $50,000. What more can you ask for? Time to head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
These days, it's all about who you know. And that's why it's the perfect time to save at the Bricks Friends and Family Sale. Upgrade your living room in time for the big game and score free delivery on TVs over 50 inches, like a Samsung 85-inch 4K Smart TV for just $999. And save up to $1,200 off sofas and sectionals. And mix and match and save up to $1,000 off 2 or more major appliances. Some exclusions apply. Check out the Brick in Edmonton South Common, West Edmonton Mall, North Side on 137th, and downtown near the Ice District.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
McValue breakfast meals are $5 plus tax every day. Get a sausage McMuffin, bagel with cream cheese product, or breakfast burrito with hash brown and small coffee, all for just $5 plus taxes. Available until 11 a.m. at Canadian restaurants. Product availability varies. Prices exclude delivery.
Sports 1440.
All sports,
all day.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Thanks for listening to Edmonton's sports leader.
$9:21 in Edmonton. Welcome back to the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas in for Kevin this morning. Donovan Paulson, Josh Fenwick, both alongside in studio as well as we get to our next guest of the morning, Zach Lang from Oilers Nation Daily Faceoff, one of our favorite recurring guests on the program. Zach, good morning. Happy Friday to you. Thanks for hopping on, especially after a bit of a late text message following the Critters action in Fort Assiniboine last night.
Yeah, busy night for you last night, eh? But yeah, happy to hop on here this morning.
So Zach, we'll start with Donovan. I mean, this guy's trying to already take. I'm trying to take Kevin's job. He's trying to take my job already, asking you questions before you're even on the show. He's going to get himself a Team Canada jersey, he says. What say you, Tom Wilson or Brandon Hagel?
Well, first of all, it kind of reminds me of like when the teacher's gone and you got a substitute for the day and they roll in the big TV for the class and you get to watch Magic
in here, Zach. Let me tell you what.
Yeah, Bill Nye all day. That's what the show feels like a little bit here, eh? But I kind of got to agree. I kind of like the idea of the Hagel jersey here. I mean, listen, this is a guy who very evidently, very passionate about his disdain for Matthew Tkachuk. I think especially in oil country here, there's a lot of people who can kind of get behind him on that. The scrap that he had with Tkachuk last night was great to see. So certainly tease up what should be some interesting Olympic Games coming up here.
And we'll talk some specific Oilers, but while we're still on the topic of Team Canada in the Olympics, the decision, Zach, to go with Seth Jarvis as the injury replacement for Braden Point, who seemed in line for a top 6 role. And Jarvis has a lot of versatility and a lot of utility, and I like him a lot as a player. But were you surprised that this is the choice for Doug Armstrong and company instead of the likes of Mark Scheifele, Zach Hyman, or maybe someone else even that was available to them?
Yeah, admittedly, I'm not gonna lie, I am a little bit surprised here. I thought Zach Hyman has done more than enough here as of late to prove that he's worthy of being on this Team Canada roster. I mean, what was it? He's leading the NHL in goals since Christmas Eve or something along those lines. Listen, I understand last year. The fact that he had the injury and he wasn't quite the right fit for the Four Nations team, going out there. But it really, to me, felt like he played his way onto this roster. I understand Team Canada's idea of having loyalty to the guys who were there. But again, it's not like Seth Jarvis was playing a huge role on that Four Nations team. I mean, he was in the press box for the gold medal game there, right? He played in the first couple of games, didn't really play a whole lot, only averaging like 11 minutes per night at 5-on-5. So I'm certainly surprised here. I definitely didn't think that it was going to be Jarvis that would get the call. It really seemed to me like Hyman kind of played his way onto this roster.
Yeah, Zach Lang from Oilers Nation, our guest here on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. I think the two things can both be true when you talk about Hyman did everything necessary to earn himself a spot on the team. But at the end of the day, there are still so many other good players to go with. And Jarvis maybe isn't the first name that came to mind for a lot of people, but it's pretty obvious when you look at the original selections and now even with Bennett as another replacement guy, they really, really are taking into account the guys that they already did all this pre-scout and selection for at last year's Four Nations. So we'll be rooting them on all the same. And hey, for Oilers fans, Zach Hyman will get himself an extra 3 weeks of rest and recuperation to be full steam ahead for this home stretch, which the Oilers are going to need him because their struggles right now are well documented. Questions about the coaching staff continue to crop up, even right out of Leon Draisaitl's own mouth. Let's start there. And what did you make of Draisaitl's comments following that loss to the Flames?
Oh, boy, I mean, I wrote about it on OilersNation.com the other night after he made the comments. I was really surprised to hear that. I mean, I've listened to a lot of these post-game press conferences. I've listened to a lot of different press conferences that the Oilers have had, scrums, all that kind of stuff for years and years now. I cannot recall an Oilers player kind of taking aim at the coaching staff the way that Leon Draisaitl did. I was really surprised to see it. Evidently, there's something going on behind the scenes where frustration is starting to kind of boil over here, right? I mean, personally, from a media perspective, love to have a great storyline like this going into a 3-week break here. Certainly leaves us a lot to talk about here on top of the Olympics, but I kind of liked it because I kind of tend to agree with him a little bit here. You look at the issues the Oilers have had this season, and I think something that we've pointed out and people have pointed out so much is just their poor start to games, right? I mean, how many times have the Oilers given up the first goal and been chasing a game all night long from that point on? And again, when you look at the deployment of these guys, especially in that Calgary game, I mean, Chris Knobloch brought out, brand new lines. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins at 3C. They brought out the spine. McDavid, Draisaitl, and Nuge all setting in their own lines. And by the end of the game, their most common line mates were the guys that they had been playing with before because the Oilers got down early. They were chasing the game, and Knobloch just went back to what he's always done in putting guys like McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, and Nuge together at 5-on-5 and just kind of running those four guys as much as he possibly could. I think it's really interesting too when you look at what, Derek Ryan, a former Edmonton Oiler, had to say last week on another radio show talking about, the fact that there's guys on this team that don't really seem to have any kind of a role right now when you look at some of these bottom six players. Like a guy like Jack Roslovic. He only played 14 minutes that night. I mean, Roslovic has been great all season long. And even in times where he's not necessarily scoring, he's still generating offense and scoring chances, on a pretty consistent basis here. So there certainly seems to be some kind of a disconnect here that they're going to have to try and figure out how to fix over these next couple of weeks.
Zach Lang from Oilers Nation, as well as Daily Faceoff with us here on the Kevin Karius Show. So Zach, when you're trying to, hone in on the cause, the reason for these struggles for the Oilers and everything from the defensive play to the goalies. It's a conversation we've had a million times already about not getting the saves maybe when the team needs them the most or the ones they should stop. Like, what stands out as priority number one or concern number one for you when assessing this team? And then in tandem with that, listen, the trade deadline is going to be coming up shortly after they resume action at the end of this month here. Where are your targets or attentions focused in terms of addressing needs and issues with the club?
Boy, where do you start right now? I mean, it's kind of a loaded question in that sense, right? Because I think there's a lot of different areas that you can identify as areas that needed to be fixed. I think first and foremost, this team just seems a little disconnected and disjointed. I think for me, that's probably the most important thing that they have to address. Evidently, it doesn't seem to matter who they really bring in over the last number of years here. They haven't quite had, many additions who have really helped push this team to another level. I think the Jake Wallman one, that acquisition was one of those kind of deals. You look back, Bowman's claim of Kapanen last year in November, that's paid off really well. The John Klingberg signing, that paid off well. Bowman has shown he can make solid in-season additions. It seems to be the off-season ones that are kind of causing the Oilers the majority of the issues, especially when you look back at these last 2 summers here. So I think first and foremost, just trying to figure out how to get this team connected again and kind of firing on the cylinders that we know that they can. I mean, they had such a great run in the month of December leading up to the Christmas break. And really since the Christmas break, they just haven't been the same team. I think first and foremost, that's the number one issue. I think the next thing that they got to address is bringing somebody in who can give a little bit of life here. And in the same breath, moving out Andrew Mangiapane. Listen, this is just very clearly not working here. Mangiapane probably had his best period as an Edmonton Oiler against the Toronto Maple Leafs in the first period last week, makes a mistake on a goal against, and then he's on the bench stapled there for the rest of the game. That clearly shows that there's a disconnect, right? Because, Toronto was one of the teams that were in on Mangiapane last year during the summertime. And of course, with all of the Bobby McMahon rumors, when you look at the money and everything like that, it makes sense that a Mangiapane McMahon kind of swap, at least in terms of the salary, makes sense there, for the Edmonton Oilers. So I think the next thing they got to figure out is trying to figure out, who do they want to bring in here? I think it's a top 9 forward. I think they're trying to see if they have the answer inside the house at the 3C spot. Josh Szymanski, I thought looked good there for the 5 games, but is that really a guy that you're going to be able to trust once you get into the playoffs in that spot? Who knows, right? Adam Henrique's supposed to be coming back from injury. So on that front alone, they got to figure out how to move Mangiapane's salary out. So there's a lot to kind of address. And I mean, we could probably talk for a lot longer about some of these other issues that need to be worked on here as well.
Zach, I've been kind of pounding this drum all week long here while sitting in for Kevin, and we talked about it pretty extensively yesterday with all the, frankly, negativity that has kind of started to encircle this team from a fan perspective, from a viewer perspective, but the defense group and the personnel that they have back there. Like we know what we're getting from Evan Bouchard and Matthias Ekholm on a near night-to-night basis. Obviously, the offense, the odd miscue from Bouchard back there, and Ekholm's game has really rounded into form compared to the start of the season when he was coming off that injury. But after that, there's a lot left to be desired. And talking with Frank Saravalli, he said that up to this point, nothing he's heard is that the Oilers have been interested or searching for an ad on the back end. They're limited in cap space. They're limited in resources and assets to go and make more than maybe one big splash type deal. But am I totally out to left field by thinking like that there needs to be a substantial upgrade on this blue line?
I think there needs to be an upgrade. I agree with you for sure. I don't know if I would use the word substantial. The Oilers kind of seem like they could probably use a Brett Kulak-like defenseman right now.
Where do you get guys like that, though?
I know, right? It's too bad, right? It feels like they had one of those kind of guys not too long ago. I mean, listen, Kulak was struggling here this season, and a little tongue-in-cheek kind of comment there, but I do think that is kind of the type of guy they need to look for here. A steady defenseman who has played a lot of games, who has experience going into the playoffs. When you look at the roster last year, and especially heading into the playoffs on that blue line, look at a guy like Ty Emberson, right? He gets in, he plays the entire series against the Kings, or I think 5 of the 6 games against the Kings, and then he gets bumped out for John Klingberg, a guy who evidently veteran defenseman, has some playoff experience in the past, and then Emberson doesn't get back in the rest of the playoffs, right? Yeah. I kind of wonder if that's the case here, but with Spencer Stastny, right? I mean, I've liked what I've seen from him. Don't get me wrong. young defenseman. He's got puck moving upside. He can skate incredibly well. But does the coaching staff really trust him going into the playoffs? That's the one thing that I wonder, right? And then you look at who's behind him on the depth chart, and it's Alec Regula. I mean, a guy who was so talked about coming out of training camp this season, who hasn't seen the NHL ice in weeks now, bumped out of this lineup. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do still try and add a defenseman. Maybe it's not a flashy Jake Wallman type of a name here or something like that, but maybe there's another kind of steady defenseman they can get on the cheaper to kind of help fill out that blue line. But hey, at the end of the day, you never know with these Oilers, right? Because again, with the Jake Wallman acquisition last year, there was nobody talking about Jake Wallman even being available in the trade market. You go back and look at any of the trade boards, and Wallman's name wasn't really popping up there. So who knows? Maybe Stan Bowman's got something up his sleeve that nobody can see coming.
Zach Lang with us, writer over at Oilers Nation, as well as contributions at Daily Faceoff, where we, a little bit more of a league-wide perspective, Zach, and obviously Artemi Panarin, the big domino to fall here ahead of the other day's trade roster freeze ahead of the Olympic break. But when we resume action, and certainly it should be busy in that, what are we talking, a week or 2 weeks leading up to the trade deadline on March 6th. Anything else really grabbing your attention as what should be a big mover or shaker, whether from a team perspective or a player that you're keeping tabs on and seeing where they could land?
Man, I think there's a lot of guys that are out there, right? I mean, what's going to happen in Buffalo with a guy like Alex Tuck, right?
Yeah.
I think that's somebody who the Oilers very likely are kind of keeping a close eye on here. I think that's one that's really interesting for me. Again, the blue line, that's going to be interesting as well. Does Philly make available or finally find a way to move out a guy like Rasmus Ristolainen? He's somebody that the Oilers have had interest in the past, and he would kind of fit that bill. A bigger defenseman. He's got some experience playing a lot of games, and his game has really kind of improved over these last couple of years in Philadelphia from where it was with Buffalo for sure. The Panarin trade was absolutely fascinating for me. First and foremost, the fact that Seattle was trying to scoop Panarin up and offer him a contract worth more than Leon Draisaitl's was very interesting to me. That says Seattle, they want to be a big player here moving forward. So I think they're a team that's certainly somebody we're going to have to keep an eye out. In terms of LA themselves, I think Panarin is a very, very good player. Do not get me wrong. I think he's one of the top wingers in the NHL, top 10, top 15 amongst the position for sure. I just don't know if he has the ability to drag the LA Kings to where they want to go. Offensively, the Kings have been a mess, right? Second fewest goals in the entire league this season at the time of the Panarin trade. They only scored once last night against the Vegas Golden Knights. Offense has been a big issue for that team. I do think that Panarin's going to help there for sure, but man, I think the issues go a lot deeper than just picking up Artemi Panarin for the LA Kings right now. So going to be fascinating to see what Ken Holland does out there, because at the end of the day, they're kind of trying to make one big last push here this season, or so it seems at least, with Anze Kopitar. So certainly some interesting storylines around all of that this week.
Zach, great stuff as always. I'll leave you with this. So we've been asking all of our guests. It's obviously Super Bowl weekend, and your Bears had a great year, exceeded a ton of expectations. Loved watching them play. Caleb Williams is looking like he's living up to the billing as that can't miss quarterback prospect. But they come up just short. Got any big plans for Super Bowl Sunday here to take in Patriots and Seahawks?
No big plans for me. Just going to set up a nice snack platter here at Chateau Lang. Get a couple of cold ones and sort of enjoy the game at home base here. But really excited for it, man. Admittedly, I've kind of got a bit of a soft spot for the Patriots, which is kind of weird to say because I don't think that a lot of people do. But one of my good buddies, Bordsy from Oilers Nation, one of the biggest Pats fan that I know, one of my best buddies from back in Calgary, huge Patriots fan as well. So I think from that angle, I'm kind of rooting for the Patriots. But man, this Seahawks team is just something special. And I think it would be really cool to see, Sam Darnold be a Super Bowl champion. He's had a great season, obviously been quite the story over the last number of years. In the NFL there. So I think there is still a little bit of me that is kind of rooting for Seattle here. I mean, what are they? They're favorited like by 4.5 points or something like that.
It hasn't moved over the last 2 weeks, which was really surprising to me because I thought they would start to push up a little bit and they'd get a few more points. But 4.5 it stands. 4.5 it's going to be, I guess.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised by that too. I mean, I thought we were going to be seeing that line get creeping up towards a 6 for them. So evidently there's somebody that still likes the Patriots out there to kind of keep this line where it is. So, but yeah, I think it's going to be a great game nonetheless.
Zach, have a great weekend. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Enjoy the Olympic break and all the hockey and other sports coverage that is bound to follow here while the NHL is on pause for 3 weeks. And we will look forward to catching up with you again very soon, I'm sure. Take care.
Thanks for having me.
Zach Lang from Oilers Nation, as well as Daily Faceoff. Lots of fantasy work Zach does. So if you're a little bit of a fiend for fantasy hockey, he's a great follow, along with his articles at both ON and DF. When we come back, we will check in with our in-house hoop head, Josh Fenwick, to catch us up on the NBA trade deadline. And we'll let you know maybe some of the Olympic scheduled events for tomorrow, because today they're essentially wrapped ahead of the opening ceremonies that are about to get underway in a couple hours' time, we think. Have we fact-checked my time zone justification at any point here, fellas?
I'll be honest, have not.
Wow, you guys just leave me hanging out here to dry. It's unbelievable. Like I'm throwing out numbers and times and dates that I'm not sure of, and I can't even trust my producers to try and double check me and at least either tell me I'm an idiot, which I'm fine with. Tell me I'm an idiot, or say, you know what, Brandon, great work. You really nailed that time zone debacle from earlier. But we'll figure that out in the commercial break here and come back with more concrete answers for you. But we believe noon Mountain Time is when the opening ceremonies are set to get underway. But we'll have some basketball talk. 10 o'clock, Ian Herber's head coach of the Golden Bears hockey team down at the U of A there at the Drake tonight and tomorrow to play UBC. And then at 10:20, Jacob Robinson from The Athletic covering the NFL will continue to tee up Super Bowl number 60 from Santa Clara with us. That's the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas, Josh Fenwick, Donovan Paulson, all in studio. We're streaming. You can watch us on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Made for some rough roads, but it means trails are now packed and ready for action. Don't miss out on riding adventures this winter with a Ski-Doo from Riverside Honda and Ski-Doo. Work or play with new 2026 Generation 5 models with class-leading design and power. And right now, take advantage of 5.99% financing OAC. Only at Riverside Honda and Ski-Doo. 15 Inglewood Drive in St. Albert. And always at riversidehonda.com. Shop local, shop Canadian.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada. Properties include the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility in Nisku, features 2 sheets of ice, a 1,600-seat arena, as well as Summit Restaurant. Learn more at silentice.com.
Mr. Reuter gets a colonoscopy.
All right, Mr. Reuter, just relax. We're almost finished.
Now, what am I looking at on the screen?
That's your large intestine.
Wow, the pipes of the human body. Incredible. This is just like when we use a camera for sewer inspection, except you probably don't find tree roots.
You'd be surprised what we find.
You know, once I found a bunch of Hot Wheels.
Hey, me too.
For a plumber who values healthy pipes, call Mr. Reuter.
Hello. You're never going to believe this. Booster Juice called your name today. You can get a free smoothie or acai bowl.
No way. And there now.
Oh my gosh, you and my brother have the same name. Okay, I'm calling him next. I'm hanging up.
Booster Juice Names of the Day is back. 2 names are selected each day, and if your name matches, you can get a free smoothie or an acai bowl. Watch for your name on the Booster Rewards app and social media. Must be an app member to qualify. Booster Juice, Canadian born, blending since 1999.
This hockey season, before every game, check out the pregame show with Andrew Walker on Sports 1440. It's brought to you by Titan Supply, your only source for rigging, lifting, and hauling products. Visit titansupply.ca.
Remember 2025? That's so last year. But seriously, St. Albert Dodge needs to clear some 2025 models off the lot to make room for new inventory. So they're having a huge clear out of all the remaining new 2025 Jeep Wrangler Saharas. The Sahara package is the best seller, so they have a great selection to choose from and priced from as low as $59.9. I don't have to tell you, these are going to go fast. So get there before they are gone. Just head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Invest for today and tomorrow. Vision Credit Union makes it simple with 2 RRSP options to fit your goals. Choose a secure term deposit RRSP with guaranteed returns or a mutual fund RRSP offering higher growth potential with exciting opportunities. With an RRSP, you'll save on your income tax, grow your investments tax-free, and get closer to your dreams. Whether it's retirement or your first home, the deadline to qualify for 2025 tax deductions is March 2nd. Learn more at visioncu.ca.
As players get ready to represent Canada, the regular hockey season takes a break. But don't forget about your winter breaks, BRAKES. At Napa Auto Parts, you'll find gold medal level stopping power and all your other world-class automotive parts and needs, like podium-worthy Napa Gold filters. Napa Auto Parts is here to support your commute, your drive to the rink, and eventually your own gold medal moment. With close to 600 locations throughout the country and over 85 in Alberta, stop into your local Napa store today. Let's go, Canada! That's Napa know-how.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
Welcome back to the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas in for Kevin this morning. Will be the final day of that before I retreat to my role on the other side of the board. And Kevin will be back Monday morning breaking down the Super Bowl, teeing up Olympic action from the hockey front over in Italy, as well as, everything else around the wide-ranging world of sports. It's 9:45. The morning is flying by. I still think we're near the start of the program at 9:45 in Edmonton here as we work through the morning on a Feel Good Friday, Playlist Friday, maybe a couple slots left on the playlist. If you got a song to send you into the weekend on a good mood, Donovan has a chance to get it on the playlist for you. Josh, did Donovan turn your mic on before he left?
Sure did.
Wow, that's savvy producing. Good work.
Savvy producing. If he didn't, I would have just moved over to his
just
spot.
bumped on over.
Okay.
So, Josh, part of the activity we're seeing in the wide-ranging world of sports was yesterday's NBA trade deadline. And in certain elements, maybe kind of fell flat for some people because Giannis was not traded. Likely to be revisited, I would think, come the offseason for the Milwaukee Bucks. Ja Morant remains a Memphis Grizzly, despite the fact that the Grizzlies looked like they were ready to completely blow it up. But apparently asking prices were pretty steep for a guy that carries a lot of baggage with him, even if he is still a very dynamic player in the NBA.
A lot of baggage, a lot of ammo in those bags.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say they're not I wouldn't say the Grizzlies are the number one loser of the trade deadline, but they're pretty close to the bottom for teams that lost big time. However, in the last, I don't know, whatever it would be, 9 months, they've traded away Desmond Bane and Jaren Jackson Jr., and they got more for just Desmond Bane than the Mavericks got in the entirety of the Lucas saga.
Oh.
So that's a tough beat. And then you tack on Jaren Jackson Jr. on top, you get Keontae George. I think like that trade is really good for the Jazz. I think what comes back for the Grizzlies are really good, but the fact that you couldn't get off Ja Morant sort of just it doesn't make the Jaren Jackson Jr. trade null and void, but it's a tough beat all the way around.
So you talk about the Grizzlies maybe not being the biggest loser, but close to it. You were just chatting during the break, and this shouldn't maybe come as a surprise to anybody that's following the NBA and what's occurred over the past number of days, but the Chicago Bulls take that prize in your eyes, Josh. Break down why you feel that that's the case.
Well, they have one player that is 6'9" or taller now. And they have about 22 million guards on their roster. They signed Mac McClung yesterday. They didn't even trade for him. They signed
decorated dunker,
Mac McClung, whose game I actually do really like, but it just hasn't found his stride in the NBA. But they have they're basically, I made this joke on the lowdown yesterday. They're trying to do what the Raptors are doing, except even
Worse?
shorter.
Yeah.
Even shorter. They're like, hey, okay, the Raptors have one guy over 7 feet, and they have one guard, and then they have a bunch of 6'8" guys. What if we had one 6'8" guy and just a bunch of guards instead? Guards are super useful in this league. Well, when you have all of them who are like 6'3" or 6'4", that's a real problem. But they made a trade with the Knicks to get Gershon Yabusele. So, you know what? Way to get that 6'7" guy in there. I don't like any of the moves the Bulls made. They still have Patrick Williams on the roster, who, again, their tallest player. You sort of want to move away from him. They got rid of Kobe White, but they held on to him too long. His value wasn't everything it should have been when they should have traded him. When all the Bulls fans I'm aware of on the internet were like, we got to trade Kobe White. They held on to assets too long. Other losers, the Sacramento Kings, they held on to Keon Ellis too long, and they lost value for him. And they didn't get to move Domantas Sabonis. He was, I would say, the second most talked about guy in the trade circles behind Giannis Antetokounmpo, very much linked to the Raptors, but they don't like giving first round picks up for people or multiple first round picks for people. The Kings will just be losers until they win a round of the playoffs, essentially, with being the Chicago Bulls West and all. Real problems over there in Sacktown, in my opinion.
So, well, now that the Giannis saga is put on pause for the time being, Josh, what does this mean for the Bucks, like for the rest of this year? Because they do still, move out some other pieces, but they still have their best player, who is, he's no spring chicken anymore, but he's still one of the best players in basketball. So, like, are they in a position to try and lose to improve their own draft stock? That's tough to do when you still have a guy like Giannis out on the court more often than not. What are the Bucks, plans here the remainder of this season, at least?
The Bucks, obviously, I think they just go, yeah, all right, we got a tank here. However, they have the less favorable of a pick swap with the Pelicans and with the Hawks. So they can't really do that, but that's just sort of the way things are shaping up right now. Because Giannis, again, he's hurt. I think just due to rumors, we're all supposed to believe that Giannis does not want to be in Milwaukee anymore. So there might be merit to just keeping him out the rest of the season and keep his stock as high as possible, which is insane because he's still going to get a massive return from whoever it is trades for him, because we were talking about a surefire first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah. And then lastly here, Josh, we talked about some of the losers and teams that maybe left us a little disappointed. What really stands out to you as the winner or winners of this trade deadline?
Big winner to me is the small trade happened yesterday with the Indiana Pacers between the Clippers.
Okay.
They get Ivica Zubac. They obviously lost Miles Turner this offseason, who was integral to their run all the way to the finals last year. They get a very solid defensive two-way center to come in and sort of fill that role. Obviously, he doesn't have the shot that Miles Turner does, but they're sort of gearing up for another run that they had with Tyrese Halliburton just 9 months ago. So I like that move. I really like Zubac's game. The only person in the world that really doesn't is Irvin Magic Johnson, who traded him away because he liked Mike Muscala's game better back in 2019. And with that, I would say the Clippers. They got a cheaper option than a James Harden and a comparable, if not better, facilitator of the ball. The only thing I don't really like is their depth, but what they got in return from the Pacers in a Benedict Mathurin, who again was a huge proponent of the Pacers offense last year in the playoffs. I like everything that I don't love, but I like everything that they did. Yeah. And the Warriors getting Jonathan Kuminga out and that saga sort of being over, a guy that didn't really want to be there because he wasn't getting an extension that he thought he was worth. So with that, I would also say the Hawks are big winners.
Awesome. Great stuff, Josh. Appreciate your insight on that as our in-house resident basketball expert. You can hear Josh tomorrow on the Hoop City Show with Paul Sir, 10 to noon, right here on Sports 1440, following the Saturday Sports Setup, where I assume Josh will also be back in studio in his usual slot. Really quickly, before we get to head coach of the Golden Bears hockey team, Ian Herbers at the top of the hour. So we did confirm the Olympics opening ceremony begins at noon. Thank you for all the texters that chimed in. A couple individuals saying we're getting recorded. I'm going to be watching it when they get home and stuff like that. So yes, noon is when the opening ceremonies will go. And the rest of the schedule is already wrapped for today. But tomorrow, starting at 2:00 a.m., so in the morning, Canada mixed doubles curling, Jocelyn Peterman, and Brett Gallant will continue their group play round robin against Great Britain. And then we're going to have some medals handed out tomorrow. Alpine skiing, men's downhill, where Canada will be in action. Some freestyle skiing qualification on the women's slope style. Freestyle skiing, men's slope style qualification as well. And then women's 3,000-meter speed skating medal race there, where Laura Hall for Canada, as well as Valerie Malte and Isabel Wiedemann are all in that race. So we're already at that point. Some medals getting ready to be handed out. It's crazy to think here with the Olympics underway from over in Italy. Women's individual normal hill first round of ski jumping also going tomorrow. And Canada will have a second mixed doubles curling game when they take on Estonia at 11 o'clock. Big air final on the snowboarding front. And Canada have some participants in that one, including the likes of Francis Jobin in a very competitive field. A couple runs for each participant in that one. When we come back, Ian Herbers, head coach of Golden Bears hockey. They play UBC for a couple games down at the Drake this weekend. We'll chat with Ian about the team's season and the changing landscape of U Sports hockey. The Golden Bears, not the dominant runaway favorites that we have seen so many times in the past. And at 10:20, Jacob Robinson from The Athletic will tee up Sunday's Super Bowl matchup with us. Jacob, of course, covering the NFL for The Athletic. Before that, let's have a Sports 1440 update brought to you by AWS Welding Supplies in Nisku. Product sales, servicing, calibrating, and free same-day delivery of in-stock items to Leduc, Nisku, and South Edmonton. Your one-stop shop for all things welding. AWSwelding.ca. Here is Donovan Paulson.
The Sports 1440 update.
After over 4,000 games in the booth, Buck Martinez officially retiring from Sportsnet and the Blue Jays. Some games on the hard court tonight. It is the Pistons hosting the Knicks. The Heat are in Boston to clash with the Celtics, the T-Wolves, and Pelicans. They play the Bucks, battle the Pacers, the Clippers, and Kings. And it is the Trailblazers hosting the Grizzlies. Some local action. You've got the Oil Kings in town hosting the Warriors. Puck drop going just after 7 o'clock. Some Olympic women's hockey. Switzerland, they beat out Czechia in the shootout. And Japan was victorious over France. Some piece of NFL news. Jim Schwartz, the Browns DC, has officially resigned and stepped down after the club failed to hire him for their head coaching vacancy. Coming up right after the break, it is Ian Herbers. I'm Donovan Paulson. That is your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Sometimes you think about what you're going to do in the day. Go to work, pick up the kids from school, make supper. But at GS Construction, we think a little differently. Winter is our season to think, to plan, and to improve. We study, we innovate, we train. So when the thaw comes, we're ready to dig, build, and deliver even better, which means we need people like you. If you're thinking about joining the team at GS Construction, now's the time to do it. To apply and to see how we think, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Weekly NFL giveaways, drink specials, huge screen TVs. The hits keep coming at First Round, Edmonton's NFL headquarters. Watch NFL football at First Round and you could win a trip to your favorite NFL city for a regular season game next season. Catch NFL action Thursday nights, all day Sunday, starting with the Pro Bowl brunch from 10:30 to 2. Then Monday night with half-price boneless wings after 6 p.m. First Round, burgers, beer, sports. Downtown and Bourbon Street, West Edmonton Mall.
Exciting news from St. Albert Dodge. The all-new 2026 Jeep Gladiator Sport packages have arrived. They have a great selection and a bunch of colors to choose from. And if you've checked out the Sport, you know it comes in some fun colors. Rugged capability, practical off-road features, and you can get behind the wheel for as low as $49,900. That's right. Put yourself in a brand new Jeep Gladiator Sport for less than $50,000. What more can you ask for? Time to head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Edmonton sports fans stay informed with Sports 1440. Stream us. Listen to us on the AM dial. However you consume this radio station, thanks for listening.
Friday night calls for family fun that's second to none, starting with a big party. And tonight at Rogers Place, it's the Oil Kings mascot Louie's birthday bash, presented by Bloom Benefits. Edmonton faces the Moose Jaw Warriors. Local mascots will be in the house for Louie's big day, and every fan in attendance gets a card for their chance to win a fun Louie prize. Plus, score Calmont Kids food combos for $10 or less. The value is lion-sized. Oil Kings, Warriors, Louie's birthday bash, tonight at 7. Great family entertainment starts at just $20 a seat. Tickets and more at oilkings.ca.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
Sports 1440. All sports, all day.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Thanks for listening to Edmonton's sports leader.
Welcome back to the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440, 10 o'clock here in Edmonton, and time for our Puck Report, brought to you by Fountain Tire. At Fountain Tire, we focus on one thing. It's your vehicle. From tires and wheels to oil changes and vehicle repairs, we have you covered. Visit fountaintire.com to book your appointment today. We welcome back head coach of Golden Bears hockey, Ian Herbers, to the program. Ian, thank you very much for hopping on with us on a game day. No Kevin Karius, your old pal, but he's enjoying a few last margaritas down in Mexico before he'll be back next week, hopefully for your guys' final stretch of games against the Griffins next weekend. Thanks for hopping on the program this morning. Appreciate it.
No, thanks for having me on. I wish I was in Mexico with Kevin. Lucky guy.
Lucky guy is right. So, Ian, you guys got a pair of games against the number one seeded UBC Thunderbirds at the Drake this weekend. The UBC program has really made some leaps and bounds in the past number of years to become a real powerhouse inside U Sports West. What sort of challenges do the Birds present to you guys this weekend in particular?
Well, they're a veteran team. They're all fourth and fifth year guys that have been with the program for a while. I think they only maybe brought in one defenseman, and maybe one other player in that as well. So they're a solid team. They can hurt you on the power play. They're good penalty kill. You make mistakes, they can put it in the back of your net. So you got to play a disciplined, detailed game and be sharp and not give them anything. They're definitely a team that can take advantage of it. They're the number one team in the country right now, and are playing very well.
So, Ian, then with your club, it's been a bit of an up and down year for you guys. And we've talked about it so much with you on this show about, the improved quality of overall play inside U Sports and out in the Western Division here. But you guys are still vying for second place. But, maybe for anybody that hadn't been keeping the closest tabs, give us a little bit of an update, an encapsulation of your guys' season to date thus far.
We're a very young team again. We lost 13 players. Some going to NCAA, some graduating, some signing great deals over in Europe, and they're playing well over there. But we got some young, talented guys that are working hard. For us right now, it's been the consistency, and that's been starting from our goaltending out. We'll have flashes where we're showing we can beat any team in the league, and we have beaten every team except for, I believe, UBC. And the problem is our consistency right now. So we've had flashes. We can put it all together. Our power play has been good recently here. We've put a lot of pucks in the back of the net. Our penalty kill has been very good at spurts. Let us down on Saturday's game in Manitoba, but before that, it's been very good and outstanding, and it's kept teams limited. So we just keep working on our name. We have been healthy all year as well. We've lost Mason Ward to injury out for the season, which hurt us on the back end. And we're missing a couple other guys for tonight's game, but been opportunities for other guys, and some guys have stepped up and played well coming in here. Just now putting it all together, and the way we've played the last little bit, the last 2-3 weekends, it's starting to show signs that it's going to meld together, join together, and we could be very dangerous come down the playoff stretch.
Ian Herbers, head coach of the Golden Bears hockey team at the U of A, our guest here on the Kevin Karius Show, that loss of Mason Ward is obviously huge. And you talk about how young of a team you guys are this year, and those veteran guys, third years, fourth and fifth year players, so valuable. So you mentioned about some younger guys stepping up and filling these roles due to injuries, the departed players. Who are some of those players that really stand out to you? I know it's always tough to single individuals in such a team sport, but some of your younger guys that have really popped for you this year and really stood out in your opinion.
Well, Gleb Tkachuk was a walk-on from the Ukraine.
Wow.
Made the team and has earned his spot. He's on our power play, and he's playing on our second and third line. He bounced around from both lines and is able to play left and right. So he's had an outstanding year for us. I think our, if you want to call it our fourth line, but Jolly, Melnick, and Duguay have started building some real chemistry. And in that Regina series, they were very dangerous. And I think they scored 3 of our goals in our 7-1 game. So they're starting to work together, starting to find that chemistry, and starting to play very well together. Dylan Ruptash is coming off an injury right now, and he looked good at spurts in Manitoba, so just getting some more consistency out of him. And then a young defenseman, Jacob DeWitt at the back end, just played a simple game. He was a big body and has been very good for us. So we expect for his game to keep growing and keep developing as well. Marcus Pacheco has been very good for us too. Just for him, it's another thing with consistency and realizing that it's a heavier and faster league, and just being able to play with that consistency as well.
So Ian, you mentioned Marcus Pacheco, one of a couple guys you've added, throughout the season this year, and it can be difficult, I would assume, at times to integrate guys mid-year when they come over from wherever they're departing or, joining back from maybe a run at a pro ranks, whatever the case. But what is that process like for you guys when you do get some quality players added to the roster, not necessarily straight out of training camp?
Well, fortunately for us, we've got a good leadership group. We're starting with Dawson Davidson, our captain, who played 3 years with the Bears here, then went over to Europe, played a year and came back, and now is finishing up a law degree. So with him at the back end, and the Hall brothers, and then Blake Gustafson, they've stepped up and been very good for us this year. Very good in the dressing room, very good in practices, on the ice during games, in the weight room, and have taken charge. So when you've got a group of guys like that are committed to the program, very passionate about the program, want to do well individually and want the program and the team to do well, and doing all the little things that it takes, it makes it a lot easier with the transition. And it's been a good year for young guys coming in because there's been a large group of them. A few years have passed, there'd only be 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 would be a big recruiting class. So now they get a chance to grow together and to be together here for a while, for 2, 3, 4 years.
U of A Golden Bears hockey head coach Ian Herbers with us here on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas sitting in for Kevin this morning. So you touched on a couple of those veteran players in your leadership group, right? The Hall brothers, Dawson Davidson, Blake Gustafson. Apart from leading the team from a scoring perspective, when you're talking about the Halls and Dawson, expand a little bit more if you could on that leadership and how important it is in U Sports to have players that can, handle some of the tougher assignments at times, while first, second year guys start to get integrated a little bit to, like you said, the heavier style of play than maybe they've seen previously.
Well, the first thing, U of A is a very academic-heavy program, so those guys have done very well there. I mentioned Dawson finishing up a law degree.
Crazy.
The Hall brothers are academic All-Canadians in the business faculty, and Blake Gustafson in the sciences.
Wow.
So guys do very well academically, and showing the younger players just being able to schedule your time and the commitment it takes to do well academically at the U of A. So that leadership there, and then they're the hardest workers in practice. They show up every day, come out and compete, battle, push each other, push themselves, push their teammates to be better. They're the first and last guys in the weight room every day, and making sure the guys are there, making sure they're pushing and working hard as well, and just coming to the rink every day in a positive attitude. And they make their mistakes as well, but they're very coachable. They want to know. They want to keep getting better. They want the instruction. They want to keep getting pushed, and they want to keep helping their teammates. So on and off the ice, in the classroom, out of the classroom, they've been outstanding.
So, Ian, you mentioned obviously those individuals and the academic achievements they've reached. It's beyond impressive, especially you talk about a guy like Dawson Davidson in law school while still playing U Sports hockey. But the U of A standards, right? And listen, I went there myself, a proud attendant of so many Bears games down at the Drake as a student, and now after the fact as well. It is a very high standard they set for entrance and obviously maintaining your status there as an active student. Does that pose a particular challenge when it comes to recruitment and getting players to come play for the Bears in today's day and age with so many other options available to them more than ever now?
Yeah, it's a definite challenge. It's something we're always talking to guys. Most of the players we talk to, if they want to get into the U of A and join our program, they have to upgrade.
Right.
Unfortunately, so the academic advisors, wherever they've been at, have been allowing them to take the -2 courses and everything else through high school. So majority of our guys do have to upgrade. But on the other side, it's what makes our program special, because we've got guys that excel in the academic side, and we have guys that excel on the hockey side. So we send more guys to the National Hockey League than any other U Sport program, and we probably have more doctors, lawyers, guys that have owned multi-billion-dollar, million-dollar businesses, and are leaders in the community. Either policemen, firemen, teachers, and everything else. And so we got Aiden Yakinchuk right now, who's applying to get into medicine. So when he's playing for us next year, he'll be in medical school. So the one year, I believe we had 5 guys in engineering. So there isn't many programs in the country that have that high of academic standard, guys doing that well academically, and then that many guys doing that well athletically and playing in great places here in North America or over in Europe.
Yeah, it's just such a proud and storied tradition with obviously the hockey and the success the program's had. But then you talk about the after school, after hockey accomplishments of so many of your guys as players. It really is tremendous. So, Ian, obviously this game two games against UBC this weekend are very important. You can't be looking past them. But to wrap up the regular season will be this game against MacEwan, possibly for the number 2 seed in the division, in the conference. How much fun has it been to see the rise of the Griffins as a team to where their competitive balance is, right there with some of these other powerhouses in it, and make for such a fun cross-city rivalry with the Griffins when you guys play these home and homes over the weekend? Just speak to that a little bit with the job Zach Daly. I know they're an opponent, but what he's done with that Griffins program.
Well, as you mentioned it, all the programs have stepped up. The league is 10 times better, or whatever the number is, than it was 5, 6, 7 years ago. Just now, the balance in the league, and anybody can beat anybody on any night. So from the 1 to 9 teams, it's a difficult. It makes our league better. Zach obviously played for the Bears. I coached him for a couple of years and was an outstanding player, and would love to have guys like Zach on your team. Just his teamwork, his competitiveness, his battle. Just his pride, and he's taken that over to the MacEwan program, and they've done very well. They've played hard. They play within their structure and are challenged every night. So it'll be a big weekend. But for us right now, we're just looking at UBC.
Absolutely,
our guys are confident this weekend. We know we can play our game. It should be good games this weekend down at Clare Drake. Fantastic atmosphere as always. Best atmosphere in Canada West and U Sport. And then after this weekend, we'll look after Grant MacEwan, which we know will be a big challenge for us. And as you said, we'll be battling for that second playoff spot.
It's so exciting. It's going to be a ton of fun this final stretch of the season. And then, of course, the playoffs on the horizon as well. Ian, thanks so much for your time. I'm heading down to the Drake tonight and hopefully tomorrow as well to get back to my roots a little bit and taking the game. Looking forward to it as always. And best of luck the rest of the way.
Great. Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
You betcha. Ian Herbers, head coach of the University of Alberta Golden Bears hockey team. And man, you hear coach talk about some of his players and what they're doing. We often forget that they are great athletes, but they are still student athletes up here. And the U of A, some of the highest standards across the country, across the continent in terms of admissions, and then maintaining your status as an eligible student athlete. It's Dawson Davidson doing his law degree right now while still playing for the Golden Bears. And he mentioned the other player that's going to be in med school next year while still playing. Just absolutely outstanding. And on the topic of the U of A, we know that there's going to be a number of Pandas representatives over at the Olympics, which are, of course, underway in Italy. The opening ceremony is coming up at noon today, and I ran through some of the upcoming events for tomorrow's schedule. Boys, we haven't had a chance to necessarily, I know, Donovan, you've had some great in or out questions over the week about most underappreciated sport to do, the most exciting sport to watch, but those are great. People have their individual preferences. So I do want to ask you two here before we go to break and talk some Super Bowl in the 10:20 slot with our next guest. Outside of hockey, just straight up, black and white, your favorite sport to watch or event to watch at the Winter Olympics?
I lean towards everything snowboarding and skiing related. I love the big air. I think that is unbelievably impressive. I was locked into my TV yesterday after
qualifiers
after I got home from the show. But I would lean anything related to that. I love the half pipe. I just honestly anything that revolves someone basically doing ridiculous flips in the air, I'm locked in.
Josh, what say you?
I'm really looking forward to team curling, specifically the women's curling.
Yeah.
The
Holman Empire.
Holman is on fire. Again, probably the greatest curler of my generation. Always had a soft spot for Rachel Holman.
If she can bring home a gold medal here, the discussion about her being the best ever is absolutely up for grabs here.
On the table for sure. And so I'm really excited to see that, because I'd also love to be able to say, oh yeah, I remember watching the greatest curler ever, Rachel Holman, dominate for 16 years essentially. And Edmonton ties. She's from she's living in Beaumont right now.
Yes.
So.
I mean, obviously from Ottawa originally, but now makes her home here in Alberta, and they do a lot of training here. I know they were at the Oilers game going back just after the New Year's when that was, when they had him on the broadcast with Gene. I
remember watching that.
Such the team. It's. I mean, when you add someone like Tracy Fleury a couple of years ago, who's a very accomplished skip in her own right, to now pair with Holman in terms of strategy and shot making. The front end's excellent. Emma Miskew, one of the best brushers in the female game. So I'm pumped for that. And then obviously we can't forget our boys as well, Brad Jacobs and company with some Edmonton ties of their own. Mark Kennedy and
friend of the program,
Benny Bear, heading back to the Olympics too. So already with a gold medal in their pocket from back in 2010. I love the curling, but I will say, just because we have the Scotties and the Briar as essentially near the same caliber, right? To win, it used to be if you won the Olympic trials out of Canada, you were essentially en route to the gold medal of the Olympics. That's not the case anymore. The rest of the world and some of their programs have caught up in incredible fashion, but the quality we still see at our own national championships are right there in terms of caliber. So I know I've said it before, but yeah, I love the track events like the luge and skeleton and bobsleigh. I have a hard time picking between them, so I don't know if that's too much of a cop-out. And as a result, I'll go back to what I've said before, the snow cross and the ski cross, just down the track. The fact that they're actually on the track at the same time and it's not just a timed event, one at a time, I think just adds such an element that we don't get to see a lot in some Olympic sports. Sort of similar to the velodrome bike racing and speed skating, right? You're actually up against the competitor in real time, not just the clock.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Those are terrific. I couldn't agree more. But like my thing about the Winter Olympics is there's really no, I don't want to say bad event, because like there's no bad event in the summer either, but they all live up to the hype.
I think that's very fair. I think, and like, listen, there are a lot more events in the Summer Olympics just by nature of it. It's a much larger spectacle, whatever, a lot more seemingly divisions and distances and times or whatever of the same sport. We see that at elements in the winter for sure. But I'm with you, Donnie. I agree. There's nothing really that comes to mind that comes up short of expectation or of excitement or anything like that. So
there's just a continuous
cross-country skiing isn't necessarily the most exciting thing to watch, but then all of a sudden give them a gun and we're talking about something all different altogether. Somebody give this man a gun.
Yeah, it's true.
We've invented biathlon. Excellent.
I raced biathlon once upon a time.
Did you really?
Just a fun little, lore piece about me.
You a sharpshooter?
I was a good shooter. I was not a particularly good runner.
Skier. Is that they call it running?
Well,
is that like the shorthand?
So had I progressed farther, I would have been doing cross-country skiing. Now, if I was not a good runner, I will tell you what, I cross-country skied a couple times. I was even worse at cross-country skiing.
Really?
Oh, yeah. No, this is back in my days when I was in cadets. So,
Oh, cool.
Just thought I'd add that little fun fact in there.
After the break, we will be joined by Jacob Robinson from The Athletic, covering the NFL to dive headlong into our Super Bowl talk with one of the best covering the sport for an excellent publication in The Athletic. And he will be our game of the day, game of the Sunday, I suppose might be the better way to put it. And Jacob Robinson will be with us right after the break here on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. You can stream us, watch us on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Summit Restaurant, located in the heart of the Silent Ice Center and just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Summit is your destination for exceptional house-made pizza, delicious entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails. Experience the perfect blend of flavor and ambiance in a modern setting. Join us for a straightforward yet elevated dining experience where our commitment to quality speaks to every bite and sip. Make Summit Restaurant your next night on the town.
The job won't wait. Why should you? At AWS Welding Supplies and Repairs, conveniently located in Nisku, we've got everything you need to get it done. From product sales to servicing and calibrating machines, we're your one-stop shop. We're a proud, locally owned and operated business, committed to serving our community with a proven track record of customer service. Don't let a broken tool slow you down. We offer fast repairs and free same-day delivery of in-stock items to Leduc, Nisku, and South Edmonton. AWS Welding. We make it happen.
Hello. You're never going to believe this. Booster Juice called your name today. You can get a free smoothie or acai bowl.
No way. Heading there now.
Oh my gosh, you and my brother had the same name. Okay, I'm calling him next. I'm hanging up.
Booster Juice Names of the Day is back. 2 names are selected each day, and if your name matches, you can get a free smoothie or an acai bowl. Watch for your name on the Booster Rewards app and social media. Must be an app member to qualify. Booster Juice, Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Remember 2025? That's so last year. But seriously, St. Albert Dodge needs to clear some 2025 models off the lot to make room for new inventory. So they're having a huge clear out of all the remaining new 2025 Jeep Wrangler Saharas. The Sahara package is the best seller, so they have a great selection to choose from and priced from as low as $59.9. I don't have to tell you, these are going to go fast. So get there before they are gone. Just head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
Mr. Rooter gets a colonoscopy.
All right, Mr. Rooter, just relax. We're almost finished.
Now, what am I looking at on the screen?
That's your large intestine.
Wow, the pipes of the human body. Incredible. This is just like when we use a camera for sewer inspection, except you probably don't find tree roots.
You'd be surprised what we find.
You know, once I found a bunch of Hot Wheels.
Hey, me too.
For a plumber who values healthy pipes, call Mr. Rooter.
Invest for today and tomorrow. Vision Credit Union makes it simple with 2 RRSP options to fit your goals. Choose a secure term deposit RRSP with guaranteed returns or a mutual fund RRSP offering higher growth potential with exciting opportunities. With an RRSP, you'll save on your income tax, grow your investments tax-free, and get closer to your dreams. Whether it's retirement or your first home, the deadline to qualify for 2025 tax deductions is March 2nd. Learn more at visioncu.ca.
For almost half a century, families, farmers, and mechanics across Alberta have trusted Ed's Auto Salvage in Westlock. Why? Because we know cars and we know value. Hi, Lisa here. And whether it's keeping your work truck hauling or getting your teenager's first car back on the road, Ed's has the parts you need at prices you can afford. Reliable, affordable, local. That's Ed's Auto Salvage. With province-wide shipping and daily delivery to Edmonton, visit us at edsautosalvage.com.
Stories, guests, and insights. This is Sports 1440 and the Kevin Karius Show.
$10:23 in Edmonton. Welcome back to the Kevin Karius Show here on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas in for Kevin this morning. Final morning in the big chair before KK makes his return from Mexico holiday on Monday, where we'll be breaking down Sunday's matchup between the Patriots and the Seahawks, which is our game of the day, brought to you by St. Albert Dodge. Clear out on remaining new 2025 Jeep Wrangler Saharas. The Sahara package, it's a bestseller. Great selection to pick from, starting at just $59.99. Expect them to sell fast, so come in soon before they're gone. StAlbertDodge.com as we welcome in Jacob Robinson from The Athletic, covers the NFL. Jacob, thanks so much for taking some time with us this morning. Really can't express how appreciative I am and what I'm sure has been a very busy and jam-packed week leading up to Sunday's game. Thanks so much for hopping on.
It has been, Brendan, but it's a pleasure to be with you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, our pleasure for sure. So, Jacob, we're going to dive right into it here. Your most recent piece at The Athletic, your newsletter, talking about 3 key Super Bowl matchups. And I want to start with your number one, Sam Darnold versus the Patriots pressure. Now, this story for Sam Darnold is one that truly, you could write a movie about. The fallout with the Jets and seeing ghosts against this Patriots defense in a former iteration and a former generation, now starting in the Super Bowl for the Seahawks. It's not going to be easy for them. The Pats defense has played very well in these playoffs, but take us inside this breakdown of Darnold up against this Patriots front pressure.
Yeah, we saw last year in the Super Bowl what happened when a front four could really dominate the opposing line, with the Eagles blowing out the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes really struggling to get throws off and dealing with the pressure all game. And Sam Darnold historically has had those same issues. This season, he was one of the best quarterbacks when kept clean in the pocket. Once you start muddying that pocket, bringing pressure, he dropped all the way to 28th. And one of the key stats I like to look at, which is EPA. Basically, he went from being a top quarterback in the Stafford, Drake May area to Tua Tagovailoa and Mac Jones when against pressure. And the Patriots love to blitz. They brought more pressure this postseason than any other playoff team. So I do think watching how Darnold responds, he was great against the Rams. Can he keep that up is something that I'm going to be looking for early on the game on Sunday.
Now, Jacob, your second one is essentially just an exact flip of it, and it's the Patriots quarterback, second-year man Drake May, up against this Seahawks defense and the pressure they can bring. A lot of disguises and just an unbelievable group, essentially top to bottom. Now, for Drake May, he's had a great year. Finished second in the MVP voting behind only Matthew Stafford at last night's awards ceremony. Take us inside this one a little bit and how, if Drake May's inexperience may, in fact, be a factor here.
Yeah, Brendan, it's Drake May's inexperience. It's also his offensive lineman's inexperience. Right. He's got 2 starting offensive linemen that are rookies, both on the left side of the line with his left guard and his left tackle. And he's facing a Seattle 4-man front that really is one of, if not the league's best in terms of just bringing pressure with 4 pass rushers. So how Drake May responds to that and how the Patriots respond to that is going to be really interesting to watch, because he's taken 15 sacks in 3 games this postseason. Now, mind you, a lot of those games, it was bad weather. They weren't passing the ball as well as they do. So it's really hard to see what we're going to get or think about what we're going to get from a Patriots offense that's had to play in Denver, that's had to play games in New England against really solid defenses, but also in the elements. And now they get a beautiful San Francisco game that should obviously not have any of the snow or anything else. That makes it really difficult for quarterbacks to complete some deep passes, keep defenses honest, and hold on to the ball.
Jacob Robinson from The Athletic with us here on the Kevin Karius Show, teeing up Sunday Super Bowl between the Patriots and the Seahawks from Santa Clara, California. Now, this is part of your third point here in terms of key matchups inside the game, and you talk about weather and how it is not expected, to be a factor here being played in Northern California. But the run game for both teams, it's definitely a strength of each club. The Seahawks, who will be leaning exclusively essentially on Kenneth Walker after Zach Charbonnet's injury a couple weeks ago. And then the tandem, the kind of nice thunder and lightning power of Ramondre Stevenson for New England, and then the flash play options of Trevion Henderson. Who holds the edge here overall, in your opinion, and how much actually does each team's respective O-line really factor into what these two teams can do in the run game?
Yeah, it's a tough battle, sort of as you alluded to there, Bren. Like, we've got the Seahawks defense, which has been the best and the most efficient run defense in the league, but the Patriots are number 3. They're no slouch either, and I do think it's going to come down to which running back can break the explosive plays. That's been sort of Kenneth Walker's calling card in his career. He either gets stuff from behind the line of scrimmage or sort of runs sideways rather than breaking and finding lanes. So if he can break some explosives, which he's actually done a really good job of this postseason, he's averaged 128 scrimmage yards per game. He's sort of been unlocked, the big unlock for the Seahawks. And then on the Pats side, I think it's going to come down to actually Ramondre Stevenson and how he does in the passing game. Drake May's legs are going to be one of the big differences in this game. Seattle, while they are elite against the run, if you separate that and just look at how they play against quarterbacks who scramble, they haven't played many of them, but when they do, that's actually been one of their weaker points. They're 29th in the league in quarterbacks rushing yards per carry allowed. So I do think like the Drake May element will be a big deciding factor. And then if he can drop off some short passes to Ramondre Stevenson, we've seen that work for them in the playoffs and in the regular season this year. I think that'll actually be a big difference. If I had to give the edge to anyone, though, I'd have to give it to Seattle. I think they have the better offensive line and they have the better defense. And really, if you can win in the trenches, you're going to win the playoff game.
And a pair of guys that live for the trenches because of their natures is the head coaches of these teams, Jacob. And it's been one of the better storylines along this matchup leading up to Sunday's game. You know, Mike Vrabel, the Patriots legend, Super Bowl champion as a player, now here as a coach in his first year with the club, really turning around this New England team. And then you have the upstart, Mike McDonald, the defensive genius who's, rivaling the offensive play callers, the likes of Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, some of the very best on the other side of the ball. On each side for this team, how much will the coaching dictate this game, and do you have an edge decidedly one way or the other between the two?
Oh, yeah. Coaching is everything. I've said, and some of my colleagues have written about how this is the year of the coach, right? Last year, we've seen so much emphasis on quarterbacks with Mahomes and Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. And this year, it's Mike McDonald, it's Mike Vrabel, it's Sean Payton, it's Liam Cohen. And in the matchup like this, you've got Josh McDaniels, who I think has been to 8 or 10 Super Bowls now, who's done this. And you have Clint Kubiak on the other side, who's a first-year Seahawks offensive coordinator. It's probably it seems like he's taken the head coaching job in Las Vegas. How he responds. Remember, the past couple of years, we've seen what happened when Ben Johnson was getting a coaching opportunity with the Bears. The Lions didn't quite get enough out of their team to win in a playoff game. So I'm really curious to see how the Seahawks offense looks, because that's a huge difference in experience when you think about just the offensive coordinators. And then on the defensive side of the ball, while Vrabel doesn't call plays, he is a huge part of the philosophy of that defense and how they like to play. And then Mike McDonald, obviously in Seattle, he's the Sean McVay of defense, and his schemes really are about manipulating offenses so they don't get any pre-snap advantage, and even post-snap things are often quite muddy. So 23-year-old Drake May versus 28, I think he's 27 or 28 now in terms of Sam Darnold. But those different coaching aspects and how they prepare them are going to be really interesting to see how they get played out. And if I had to lean anyway, I'd probably give favor to Drake May just from Josh McDaniels' experience working with Tom Brady. Clips of Tom Brady and how he checks down, doesn't force things. So I think that's going to be a really fun matchup.
The Athletics, Jacob Robinson with us here on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas in for Kevin this morning. Now, Jacob, but between the lines, the actual play on the field, another one of my favorite storylines this week and previous has been, what are the Patriots going to do about Jackson Smith and Jigba? He's vaulted himself into that conversation along the likes of Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Puka Nacua as the very best this league and sport has to offer at the position. So if you were drawing up plays or trying to scheme here, what are you looking at to try and slow down and limit JSN's impact on this football game?
Yeah, that's a really good question. We saw Bill Belichick do a great job of that over the years when he was taking away the opposing number one receiver. And the way he was doing that was really basically double teaming them. And it was a bit of a different strategy. So rather than put his number one corner on the other team's best receiver, he'd put his number two corner on them, but then use a safety as essentially a double team, sort of keeping the lid on that number one receiver and trying to blanket them and take them away and forcing that wide receiver 2, wide receivers 3. So in this case, Rashid Shaheed and Cooper Kupp to beat them. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see Vrabel's defense employ a similar strategy to slow down JSN. Now, obviously that's a lot easier said than done. We haven't seen any team really successfully bottle up JSN over the course of the season. He's been excellent. The team does a great job of scheming him open, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Seattle lean more on tight end AJ Barner, for example, or Rashid Shaheed, their other wide receiver, as well as Cooper Kupp. And well, I do think they might be successful in bottling up Jason. Over the course of the game, it's going to be really hard to keep him under handle.
Yeah. Jacob Robinson from The Athletic with us here on the Kevin Karius Show. So, Jacob, inside still the sphere of the Super Bowl and Super Bowl week, because this all took place in Santa Clara or San Francisco, extended area, but not the game itself. We saw the Hall of Fame class get announced, as well as obviously NFL honors handed out, and some no-doubters, right, on the Hall of Fame side of things with Drew Brees, Larry Fitzgerald. The fallout from the Bill Belichick fiasco remains ongoing, and then even Robert Kraft doesn't look like he's getting in either. So a name that came up, and it was a great question by our producer Donovan Paulson during a segment we do called In or Out earlier this morning, and it's about Torrey Holt and his case for the Hall of Fame. 7 years as a finalist, now out of that kind of a category of eligibility. Is this really shocking to you? Like what is stopping Torrey Holt from getting into the Hall of Fame at this point here? Because it seems pretty flabbergasting when you do everything from numbers, impact, where he stood among other receivers in his era. He seems like a no-doubter to me.
Yeah, I'm with you, Brendan. I mean, they inducted Isaac Bruce in 2020. So the fact that you have a player like that, and then there's Torrey Holt, most receiving yards in the league from 2000 to 2009, that decade. All the others that were sort of in that category, Randy Moss, Terrell Owens, Marvin Harrison, those are all Hall of Famers. He had 8 consecutive 1,100-yard seasons. Just an unbelievable player, Torrey Holt. But it goes to show how difficult this Hall of Fame process. And I work with a few voters and Hall of Fame selectors, and I've talked to them at length about this process and how it works. And a lot of times with these senior players, if you're not in your first couple years, you just move down that pecking order. Yeah. And it really takes a champion, like someone who's going to make an argument for that player and convince it, and do it in a way that convinces the other voters to give them a thumbs up too. So it's really a difficult situation. I do think we'll start to see more clarification from the Hall of Fame selection committee and maybe even changing of the rules after what happened with Bill Belichick, because that was a rule change that only happened a couple of years ago. Yeah. And this was one of the first iterations that we've seen it play out.
So, Jacob, I'll leave it or finish it with you with this. What do you got for a pick? I don't know if you're much of a bettor or on the props and stuff like that, but if you got anything that's really tickling your fancy on that front, would love to hear it. But first and foremost, your pick for the game, winner and even a spread cover, because Seahawks are going off at 4.5 points right now.
Yeah. I like Seattle in this one, Brandon. It's just, there's so many. I don't think we've ever seen a team average less than 20 points per game and make the Super Bowl in the postseason, and that's what the Patriots have done. Yeah. The last two teams that sort of came close were the Broncos in 2013 and the Rams in 2018. Both of those teams lost in the Super Bowl, so I'm not going to be surprised to see Seattle win this. I do think the spread, the Seahawks will cover the spread as well too. Their average sort of margin this season was 11.2. The Patriots don't get blown out, but the Patriots, as we all know, haven't really faced a team like the Seahawks this season. I'd argue like they lost to the Bills. That was the best team they've played this year, and they lost to them once and they beat them once. So I'm going Seattle for the spread, to cover, to win. But I also like the dark horse MVP of DeMarcus Ware. I think there's a chance that he could really make a big impact on the defensive side. Drake May's taken 15 sacks, right? If he gets 2 or 3 of those sacks, a forced fumble, maybe returns one for a touchdown, that could happen. I also like Sam Darnold to throw an interception. I just think the Patriots are going to bring a lot of pressure. Darnold's now gone 3 consecutive games without a pick. He's rarely done that in his career. There's been some tip passes that he got lucky weren't intercepted. So I'm sort of rolling with those two. Also like Kenneth Walker as an MVP candidate as well. So those are probably some of my favorite bets. But I'm looking forward to it, man. It's always a really fun time of year, and the energy here in San Francisco. I like the joke that it's electric because of the substation, but it's been fun.
Hey, Jacob, it poses as a great matchup. We're obviously all rooting for a great game, and the number of storylines to keep tabs on throughout the course of the contest are numerous, and it should make for an awesome Sunday. Thanks so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, and of course, enjoy the game on Sunday. We'll look forward to catching up with you again soon. I really enjoyed this chat. Thanks a lot for your time.
So did I, man. Those are great questions. Thanks so much, Brandon.
Jacob Robinson, The Athletic, covering the NFL. Great stuff. I mentioned his most recent piece over at The Athletic, talking about 3 key matchups. He also has one about how Vrabel rebuilt the Patriots so quickly. Awesome stuff from Jacob Robinson over at The Athletic, along with obviously a number of his colleagues as well. That is our game of the day, brought to you by St. Albert Dodge. Clear out on the remaining 2025 Jeep Wrangler Saharas. It's the bestseller package. It's an awesome one. Great selection to pick from, starting at just $59.9. They're going to go fast. Come in soon before they are gone. StAlbertDodge.com. When we come back, we'll wrap up the show. We'll wrap up the week. As a matter of fact, we'll check in with the fellas about what their weekend plans are, and maybe catch you up to speed on any other local happenings that you can tune into. Hey, the Oilers are off. Praise thee. You don't got to watch them play passive defensive hockey for at least 3 weeks now as they try and get things sorted out. Olympic hockey on the men's side will get underway next week, but lots of other stuff to dip into before then. The text line, 1-833-401-1440. I'm happy to hear your Super Bowl plans. What are you doing? Where do you go? Where do you watch? Are you Eddie Steele? Are you watching at home by yourself, or do you like the full social atmosphere? Chime in, get in on the conversation with us as we wrap up the program here on the Kevin Carey Show on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas in for Kevin, Josh Fenwick, Donovan Paulson, both alongside. You can watch us. We're streaming the show on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Wing Wednesday at First Round. Whether you're coming for the first round, the last round, or a few rounds in between, they've got you covered with half-price wings every Wednesday night. Half-price wings. Over 35 delicious flavors like Cajun salt and pepper, maple bacon, and Inferno wings. Now half price every Wednesday night. Wash them down with a cold pint of Canadian or Coors Light for only $5.75. Half price Wing Wednesdays at First Round in West Ed and now downtown. First Round, burgers, beer, sports.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
If you've got a smart speaker, get it to play Sports 1440.
And it doesn't matter when you listen as we roll out the sports talk
24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Edmonton's home for sports radio is Sports 1440.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 furnace replacement company for lovers. Because the best aphrodisiac is no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace from Legacy. So forget about the oysters, baby. If you really want to check the heat, we can be a thermal couple, baby. Give me your sweet loving legacy. Heat things up with no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Diablo Boots sells only Canadian-made work and biker boots made by Canada West. No American or boots made in China, so no tariffs. All of Diablo's boots have replaceable soles and heels for longer life. Sizes 6 to 14 EEE. Buy quality, buy Canadian. And support Canada West and Diablo, the two best names in the boot business. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Buy Canadian. They're terrific.
Sports 1440.
All sports,
all day.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Thanks for listening to Edmonton's sports leader.
Home stretch of the Kevin Karius Show for the day, for the week. Hope everyone's having a great start to their Friday here as we wrap up the show 11:45. Brandon Douglas in studio filling in for Kevin for, about 15 more odd minutes. Coming up at the top of the hour, it's Fantasy Frenzy. Connor Halley will pop in. I'll stick around. Josh will be here. Mackenzie, the intern. Donovan. Maybe he'll go get me a Blizzard from the food court as a little treat for me. I'm running on fumes here a little bit, but we've had ourselves a great week. A lot of fun. After Fantasy Frenzy, it will, of course, be the Lowdown with Low Tide from noon to 2. Friday means... Who's on the Lowdown? Lansky. Lansky. Steve Lansky will be on. And then the Jason Gregor Show, 2 to 6, will take you into the weekend. Fridays with Gregor, obviously jam-packed and loaded. Wanye Gretzel pop by. Craig Button usually dipping in on a Friday. Craig's thoughts on the Oilers, I'm sure, are plentiful at this point. Friday staples on Gregor. I'm trying to think. Oh, Low Tide, of course. We'll be on with Greg's. I said Wanye. This guy. this guy. I wasn't listening. Unbelievable. Do want to recognize this text from Farintosh Josh. Thank you, Josh, for this. Allison Mackey, Ross Shep, Edmonton, Nordic Ski Club, girl cross-country racing tomorrow. 20-kilometer skiathlon, 10K classic, and 10K skate ski. Quick ski changes midway on stadium. That's crazy. Couldn't find me doing that for a number of reasons. A, you look at this body. It is not a body built for cross-country skiing. My legs are too short. My rest of my body's too fat. Now, training could certainly help with some of that, but listen, I simply don't have the fortitude. I'm not an athlete. I pretend to be one. I play one on TV. But Allison Mackey, nice local product there. And then he also says Abigail Strait is a podium threat on the ski jump tomorrow. So a couple local elements there. Thank you, Farintosh Josh, for the insight. Really appreciate it. Fellas, it's Super Bowl Sunday. Are you going to do what Eddie Steele does and watch at home, taking diligent notes so you can come in on Monday, and in your case, Tuesday, Donovan, with a huge wave of information and insight? Or are you opting for the more traditional route, a Super Bowl party, perhaps? And if so, where, when, what are the deets? What's the spread? Give me all the juicy gossip here on what your bottles are up to this weekend.
Just before that, if you want to see more or all of the Albertan Olympians, you can go to our Instagram page, Sports 1440 AM. We have a nice little post up from our young intern, Big Mike.
Whoa,
that
Big
is
Mike.
listing all of the Albertan Olympians up there.
That's awesome.
So, yeah. And what I believe what sports they're doing. She was showing me earlier this morning when she got in. So, yeah, go out there. Support your local people.
Way to go, Big Mike. She's really doing it. All right, Josh, let's start with you. What are your Super Bowl Sunday plans, young man?
I will be going to a mutual buddy of mine's house, Trey. And he's
This Trey, by the way.
I got shoot game. He's throwing on a brisket.
Oh, nice.
So me and my roommate will be peeling out to Trey's place out in Sherwood Park, watch the game there, big party. I might be staying around for street football after the fact.
What?
They play
what? This is some sort of like a deviation from American Thanksgiving. You get the football game going in the backyard.
Essentially, they play. So the game,
the
game's over. And so this would be my first time going.
Game's over. It's gonna be dark outside.
Yeah, they do this every year. First to 3 touchdowns win. You get 4 downs. You got to march down the street and get a tud. So I might be doing that. However, my other place of business is having the long-awaited staff party on Sunday night after the Super Bowl. Weird time. I would have pushed for the Sunday after the fact, but alas, I'm not the one that makes those decisions. So I might be going there, might be playing football, or I'll just go home after the game, get a nice snooze in.
This man has options.
I have options.
Donovan, what say you?
Well, first and foremost, Josh, you're going to be like Ron and Andy from Parks and Rec.
Oh, my God.
When they're doing the football in the parking lot.
Get clipped by the car.
Personally, my thought was
verbal GIF or verbal Instagram video. The eyes come across the car as like Buick Chevy Impala, Alabama.
Exactly.
Linebacker. And that's going to be taking out Josh's
my
knees.
thought was like Vince Vaughn in Wedding Crashers getting hit by Bradley Cooper.
Come on, quit milking this. Get up. We got to play.
There's so many good shots.
That's where my first thought went, was that.
But anyways, as for myself, I've got a jam-packed weekend here. I'm going out with the fellas on Saturday night, and then Sunday morning we're gonna do what is probably gonna realistically be a bit of a hungover golf sim session, and then we are going to go back to my house for the old Super Bowl.
Your house?
Yeah, well, my parents' house, which they're gone in Mexico.
I thought we already discussed this morning when
Yes.
you're talking about what you're willing to bet on.
I bet
Canada
my parents' house on,
Canada medaling at the Olympics. Like,
What are they
listen,
going to do?
listen,
They can't stop you.
I
They're in Mexico.
I don't have a house, but you do have a house that you're at least opportunistic enough to invite all your friends over to and host a party.
It's gonna be a blast.
This
We've got the downstairs fridge is all stocked up with all the necessary beverages.
Nice.
We've got to get the old food going, but we've got
knowing you and your cast of friends, I am a little bit worried about what this food spread might be looking like at this
that's going to be
shindig.
bleak. It's going to be bleak. The food spread
Some
might be a
pendant
little ugly.
nachos of Ritz crackers with cheese whiz on them stuck in the microwave.
That's the one thing we'll be able to do effectively is we've got lots of we got nacho chips, and those are already in the pantry. But man, the rest of it, like if we were to try chicken wings, that would go horrifically wrong.
Yeah, I might just want to be ordering in. I think for some of this stuff, perhaps.
We very well might be, but I think the nachos will get going, and I don't know exactly what after that. But I mean, there's about 72 bags of chips in the house right now, and those will all get eaten.
Donovan, here's a pro tip for you with the nachos. If you're going like different types, mix it up.
Ground beef on the nachos.
Well, sure, of course, but use Doritos. Whatever your preference, nacho cheese. I love sweet chili heat Doritos.
That's the play.
So that's what I'm a full cover the cookie sheet in that. So layer them as you normally would. Your cheese, your other toppings, whatever vegetables you want. Hot ones, ground beef. Layer them up, and then also a little drizzle of some barbecue sauce. Just a drizzle across. And then you do your typical dipping. I love sour cream for nachos. Salsa's good too. I'm not a guac guy, but that's my personal pro tip. We patented that back in my frat house days on the occasional night back from the bar. The Doritos nachos.
Never done that.
And in the oven, of course. No microwave nachos.
Oh no, you can't do that.
We're living in the year of our Lord and Savior 2026. We shouldn't be having microwave nachos anymore.
No, microwave nachos is a crap.
Text line 1-833-414-1440. Deanocracy says, my buddies and I used to do street football in the winter all the time. It's a blast.
Unfortunately, there's no snow on the ground right now.
So give me some skinned up knees. And with by the time, think about it. When it's dark when this is happening, all the melted water and snow from the day has refrozen. You might as well just put your skates on to play out in the street.
Not a bad idea.
Interesting dynamic. Husks says, no, way too much if you're going to use Doritos. My wife's family always did. No go. I'll disagree, Husks. I think it's a killer. You can't have it all the time, but it's a nice little mix-in. It's a nice treat.
Just a little treat.
And then Tequila agrees with me. Buddy, sweet chili heat nachos, it's genius. Oh, it's so good.
We're going to have to try that.
Heavy Chevy says, hey, BD, give me an hour and I'll be cross-country skiing. No problem. You can do it. Well, Heavy Chevy, you say that, but I think you might be a little over-optimistic about my physical capabilities at this point, especially after I'm quite certain I gave myself a concussion last night at the Critters game. I was definitely seeing some stars after I accordion folded myself into the boards. And the key was to get up really quickly so no one thinks you're hurt. Get up really quickly. Like Sean Smith was reffing. He comes over and he's like, dude, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Meanwhile, I'm like, I need to go to the bench right now. We get into the intermission a period and a half later. Coming to the second, I was like, man, this headache's really starting to take over for me. I know what'll fix it. A nice cold buckskin. Coors Original. And guess what? It helped.
Man, I've got a really bad headache. I wonder what's happened.
Yeah. So maybe a little rest and recuperation for me this weekend. I'm heading over to my buddy Chucky Slicks. Nice place, East of Sherwood Park, that him and his wife purchased this past fall. I lived with him in Fort Saskatchewan, where I've watched each of the past 3 or 4 Super Bowls now at this point. But so first Super Bowl party in the new place. He's got the golf sim in the shop. So like you, Donovan, I'm going to play a round or two of golf in the morning, or morning, early afternoon, however you want to put it. Abby, his wife, puts on a great spread. I'm going to make the debut of my triple crock pot that I got in my Christmas gift exchange.
Have you elected?
It's not going to be like Josh's crock pot that we saw.
Well, yeah, cooking here in the
it was
corner.
Connor's crock pot,
and then
to be
he
clear.
failed to bring back to Connor for 2 months.
A
month.
A month.
Josh's Diddy prison set up in the corner.
It's just crazy.
Hey,
Criminal.
you can't look at me and tell me those meatballs were not banging.
Oh, they were dynamic.
They were
buddy,
good.
you had the
So
Diddy
what?
prison
Hey,
set up.
listen, floor meatballs. Who cares? They all went down the exact same.
RBS once said, whoa, don't bash microwave nachos. I grew up on those babies. Still fire them up every now and again. RBS, I'm right there with you. Growing up, that's all I ever had. I wasn't even aware you could have nachos from the oven or something like that. Never crossed my mind. But eventually you make realizations, and the tiniest bit of extra effort, and more importantly, not effort, time to let the oven preheat and whatnot, it's worth it. Like, don't submit yourself to microwave nachos. It's just not how it is.
Do you want to get to your favorite text of the day before we
which one?
The old John Morant one?
Oh yeah. I need to go back and find it.
Matt and Leduc.
Do you have it in front of you?
I do.
Okay, you read it because I can't find it in the stack.
Doesn't Morant have bicep/tricep issues? He's always missing games because of his guns. Zinger.
Pretty good.
Unreal.
Pretty
Unreal
good.
Text.
Fellas, great week. Donovan, excellent work. Appreciate your dedication, pulling some tough swing shifts from the late post-game action to right back in here, 7 o'clock. Josh, thanks for all your contributions and the help with some of our basketball chatter on the week as well. And to all of you, thank you very much for listening. We had a fun week in here. Kevin will be back Monday morning to break down the Super Bowl and everything else that transpires between now and then. Top of the hour, it's going to be Fantasy Frenzy with the Con Man, myself, Mackenzie, and Josh. Before that, let's have our Sports 1440 update brought to you by Sean Cunningham of RE/MAX Real Estate. Get the home team advantage for your next move in the Edmonton area. If you're thinking about buying or selling a home, call or text Sean directly, 780-265-0165. Hey, enjoy the Super Bowl weekend, everybody. If you're heading down to the Drake for either of these Bears games, I hope to see you there. Happy to share a beer with you, maybe even purchase one if you're so lucky, and my debit card's already out of the wallet. But enjoy the Super Bowl on Sunday, and we'll be looking forward to chatting with you again on Monday morning starting at 7 o'clock. Here is Donovan Paulson.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
After over 4,000 games in the booth, Buck Martinez is officially retiring from Sportsnet and the Toronto Blue Jays. Games on in the NBA tonight. You've got the Pistons hosting the Knicks. The Heat are in Boston. The T-Wolves clash with the Pelicans. It is the Bucks and Pacers. The Clippers, they cross town to Sacramento. And the Trailblazers clash with the Grizzlies. Some local action. It is the Oil Kings hosting Moose Jaw. Puck drop going just after 7 o'clock. Some women's Olympic hockey action. Japan, they edged out France and Switzerland over Czechia 4-3 in a shootout. Coming up on Sports 1440, it is Fantasy Frenzy with Hallie and Douglas. I'm Donovan Paulson. That is your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you